I find it shocking that they are now saying judges are actually involving themselves in what needs to be stated on federal websites. I think that just demonstrates the absurdity of what these courts are doing, that they're going so far as to dictate what the president of the United States can have in terms of websites. There's nothing that requires the website at all. Yet, according to these judges, if it has anything to do with their pet projects, they are not going to allow him to change policies. That's clearly so far outside of their jurisdiction, and it's also contrary to what the Article 2 says in the Constitution.
And I think so many Americans have been, it's been a shock to the system to see this, because typically the standard for judgeship is that you don't even donate 1 red cent to any political cause, anything that's partisan. And now we are finding judges out there whose spouses, whose children, in one case, benefited from programs paid for by USAID. In the case of one of President Trump's judges, obviously his daughter's relationship with a marketing campaign that rallied against President Trump. Is it audacity that caused them to think that they could get away with it? What is it?
Corruption. I don't think that I would use the nice word of audacity, although I think that that definitely is a part of this. But I think that there is a level of corruption associated with government largesse anymore. Just as if you watched the interview yesterday in the White House with Elon Musk and the president and Little X, what you saw was an issue that I think is very, very important, which is there are civil servants, there are so-called public servants that may make $150,000 to $200,000 a year, yet have amassed tens of millions of dollars in terms of wealth. Samantha Power, who was the head of USAID under the Biden administration, is a classic example. She was making a couple of $100,000 a year. Her net worth before taking this position was in the millions, which for a public servant, I can't understand that. While being the head of the USAID, her net worth just absolutely skyrocketed. And I think that that's what you're seeing. You talked about the judge in New York who handled the fraud case with President Trump. His daughter made millions off of the fact that she was working for people like Adam Schiff and other Democrats. Her entire business model was attacking Donald Trump. And her father refused to recuse himself. So having practiced law as long as I did, and especially in litigation, I can tell you that I'm actually very shocked at what these judges are willing to do. Number one, with refusing to recuse, and number two, step over the line with them dictating what policy is. I think something else that it demonstrates is that the fact that I've been screaming about the over-bureaucratization of our government and the fact that it's the unelected bureaucrats that are running things, I don't think there's any better example than what these judges have done over the last couple of days of saying it is the bureaucrats that are in charge, not the elected officials. Again, I think we're ultimately going to win this, but I think it shows the hubris and the absolute amount of money that can be made off these various NGOs and having the proximity to power.
Yeah, such a great point. Money and power make people drunk. There's no doubt about it. Congresswoman, you said that some of these judges may be acting contrary to Article 2 of the Constitution. I want to ask a little bit. I talked to Congressman Greg Steube today. He said, listen, it may take an impeachment or two to send a message to the judiciary that you can't start becoming politically weaponized like the Justice Department did. Are there some remedies at hand for lawmakers like yourself? You take the law so seriously, you take the Constitution so seriously. Are there some remedies that lawmakers in Congress may seek to impose before judges get too far down this path of becoming politically weaponized like the Justice Department?
Things that I think that we need to be using in this process is that Rule 65 of the Rules of Civil Procedure. You cannot get an injunction unless you post a bond. And I think that we need to start demanding that the people who are bringing these lawsuits are required to post bonds, which in some cases may be hundreds of millions of dollars. The costs associated with this, the cost of putting a roadblock up against or in front of what Donald Trump is doing, it will have some real impacts on this country. The fact that we have found all of these horrible expenditures coming out of USAID, people want to say, well, he can't stop those. USAID made those contracts. They made those agreements. I never voted on any of those programs. I don't believe anybody in Congress ever voted that we would be spending $2 million for a comic book in Peru. Those are not the things that we appropriated money for. And I think that it would be perfectly appropriate to demand that these judges follow Rule 65, which it is not discretionary. It says specifically, I looked at it today, that they shall require the posting of a bond that is equal to what the damages would be in the event that the injunction is eventually overturned. And I think under those circumstances, these judges would be very hard pressed, because then these folks are going to have to go get bonds to actually cover this. So I think that that's an interim step that we should be taking right now. For every injunction that is sought, the Justice Department needs to be seeking a bond of comparable value of the impact of that injunction.
Wow, that's a big idea. One that might catch on real fast, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I want to shift to something that is very important to your constituents, because Wyoming is a huge energy producing state. I think you guys produce somewhere upwards of 40 million megawatt hours annually, mainly through coal-fired electricity. So we spoke to EPA Administrator Zeldin 2 nights ago, and he was talking about reforming the permitting process and unleashing energy throughout this country. It's obviously not only going to benefit countrywide, but also Wyoming. Are you looking forward to that? How is it going to be implemented in Wyoming?
It's absolutely critical for the economic well-being of the United States. Energy security is national security. We are the largest coal producer in the nation. We are one of the top oil and gas producers, and we have phenomenal high-quality reserves of uranium. It is all of these resources that we need to be tapping into to ensure that we're going to have affordable and reliable energy. One of the things that I really took the Biden administration to task over was that every single policy that they implemented resulted in energy poverty. I don't believe in that. I believe that that is absolutely the wrong-headed way of approaching this. I think that one way of describing it is a way that a good friend of mine used to talk about it, and that is we can be champions of abundance or we can be lords of scarcity. And the Democrats and the Biden administration and the UN and Germany and England and the EU and all of these various, the intellectuals among us, they are attempting to foist and enforce energy poverty on the masses. That is not the purpose of government, especially in the United States, when our government is of, by, and for the people. So what I am always looking for is I'm looking for the very best process that we can put into place to make sure that we're protecting our environment at the same time that we are producing the resources that we need. The policies that have been in place for the last several years are incredibly regressive to our lower class and our middle class citizens, because it makes energy costs just absolutely skyrocket. We are absolutely rock stars when it comes to producing energy and doing it well and taking care of the environment. I believe that we do need permitting reform. I cannot wait to be working with Mr. Zeldin from the EPA, as well as Doug Burgum with the Department of Interior. And there are several other agencies that we're just going to unleash the power of energy independence, and it's going to benefit every single American.
Yeah, that it is. Real quickly, Congresswoman, we've got to go in a second, but I want to ask you about the anti-woke caucus and its opportunity to continue this war against wokeism and get America back to pragmatism. Tell us a little bit about what the caucus is going to achieve.
So it is a matter of exposing some of the things that have been embedded in our government and how incredibly destructive that they are. I want to say that what Elon Musk has been able to expose has been eye-opening for every single person in this country. There are Democrats who want to caterwaul and yell and scream and, rend their clothing, rip their hair out, things like that, because they're so upset about this. 99% of your average person out there with a lick of sense knows that what we've been funding and what we've been doing around the world is bad. Now, we can look at an agency like USAID and we can say it's a $50 to $60 billion agency, and maybe that's not that much money. I think it's a massive amount of money. But it also, what you have to look at is the kind of rot that it was actually sending out through grants and through funding. What they were doing in other countries, overthrowing countries, undermining their culture, undermining their stability and certainty. It's just amazing, and so much of it goes back to this woke ideology that just really needs to be ripped out by the roots. We need to get back to our Constitution and common sense.
Yeah. A lick of common sense. You said it just right. That's what's been missing in Washington, but it seems to have arrived with you and Elon Musk and President Trump. So a lot of fun ahead for us. Congresswoman, what a great opportunity to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Next, Just the News broke a major story about Catholic charities raking in billions of dollars to provide services to illegal immigrants. This all while Pope Francis has had some criticism of President Trump and his immigration policies. We're going to tackle that next with a good favorite guest of ours on the Frank Pavone, but after these messages. Hey folks, did you know that American homeowners have over $32 trillion in equity? That's an amazing figure, but you know the bad news? Criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing. Scammers can transfer your title right out of your name using a one-page document they file at the county. Then they can take out loans against your equity, even sell it behind your back. And the scariest part, you won't find out about it until collection or foreclosure notices start arriving in your mailbox. Now that is something you don't want to have happen, leaving you, of course, when that happens, in a financial and legal nightmare. The best way to protect your equity is with Home Title Lock's exclusive $1 million triple lock protection. This service offers 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should occur, the U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title. So when was the last time you checked on your title? If you're like me, the answer is never. And that's exactly why scammers are counting on you to fail. The good news is for 2025, Home Title Lock is offering you 25% off. And you also get a free title history report when you go to HometitleLock.com and use my promo code JTN25. Now make sure you check out the $1 million triple lock protection details when you get there. One more time, go to HometitleLock.com, use the promo code JTN25. We'll do a quick news breaking news. Yep. That's right. All right, let's have some fun.
Welcome back, everybody. Big news alert. John has the details. So, John, I'm going to toss it over to you for those.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, Amanda, U.S. District Judge O'Toole in Boston ruled that Donald Trump has the right to carry on with his buyout program of federal workers. There had been a temporary hold. This judge had placed a hold to consider the legal issues. He concluded that the labor unions who were trying to trip up the president and stop the president from carrying out this program did not have legal standing, and therefore the program may proceed. That is a big win for President Trump and a big loss for liberal labor unions who were trying to stop the president from shrinking the size of government. We have more of that on that over at justthenews.com. Go check that out. Amanda, back to you. We got a great guest coming up.
Yes, indeed. I imagine there were some hump day high fives happening around the Oval Office when that decision came down. All right. So if many of you have been following the news, the Vatican and Pope Francis have been putting out some opinions based on President Trump's immigration policies, the deportation processes that are taking place. And this pretty much coincides right along with one of John's great reporters, Stephen Richards, his story about how Catholic charities have been raking in billions, that's billions with a B, facilitating immigration across our border. We've covered a lot of these NGOs that are peppered along our southern border who help traffic back and forth. So with us to discuss this is a former Catholic priest who was defrocked by the Vatican for speaking out against Democrats who were pro-abortion and a lot of other issues surrounding that as well that we're going to talk to him about. He is the director of Priests for Life and the national co-chair of Pro-Life Voices for Trump, Frank Pavone. Frank, great to see you.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, John.
Hey there.
Great to see you. You know, I think it was Border Czar Tom Homan who had a great retort when he was asked about this by reporters. And he said something to the effect of, the Vatican has a wall, does it not? Vatican City has a wall. What's the difference between the Vatican having a wall, being able to protect its borders, and the United States? Why would the Pope say that this is going to end badly?
Yeah, that's a good question. I worked at the Vatican for a while. I lived right outside the Vatican. That is a high wall that they have. The fact of the matter is, and a lot of people don't think about the Vatican as a sovereign state, because it is. I mean, if you think about the church, Catholic Church, okay, but it's also a sovereign state and it's got a wall. The Pope is making politically charged comments. I mean, I've been speaking out for years now about the fact that he's meddling in American politics in a way that is not befitting of a Pope. His comments are always favoring to the Democrats and criticizing Trump. I've made the case directly to the Vatican and to the United States bishops that the best friend that the Catholic Church has right now is one Donald J. Trump. He is doing more for religious freedom, has done more than anybody else. And his policies on immigration, by the way, are not inconsistent with what you read in the Catholic Catechism about immigration. When you go to the Catechism, it says, yes, we welcome people. They have inherent human dignity. Listen, I don't know anybody that disagrees with the fact that they have human dignity. We have to help people as much as we can. But that's the operative phrase, as much as we can. Because then the Catechism goes on to say, nations that are welcoming immigrants have a right, have a duty to provide for their own people, to set laws and conditions for immigration, and those wanting to enter another country must obey its laws and respect its status as a nation and its culture. And that's exactly what President Trump is saying. We're not against immigration. We're against people throwing the law out the window and coming into a country without sharing its values. I see absolutely no reason why the Pope and the bishops should have any problem with that whatsoever.
I think you just schooled us as an important Catholic doctrine. I didn't even know that, and I'm a practicing Catholic. That was really helpful, Father. I want to ask a little bit about Catholic charities. And listen, I don't doubt for a second they're trying to do the right thing, but they make a lot of money doing it. And you just talked about human dignity. The way that people migrated to the United States on Joe Biden's watch at the behest of drug cartels, with women being raped and young children being forced into drug muling, it seems the most inhumane way. It seems as though it's almost an anti-Catholic way to ask someone to come to this country. How did this get so distorted?
It was so horrific. I mean, you see those videos. I remember one with the mother pushing her baby underneath the sharp barbed wire fence. Yeah. Meanwhile, she's up to her waist in mud. Is this human dignity? This is not the way people are supposed to be treated. No, I think, John and Amanda, it's a blind spot that many of the bishops and many of the advisors of Pope Francis have, a blind spot that gives them bias in favor of Democrat policies. I think that's a much of the, and I think also what's happening, there is a deep connection between the deep state and the deep church. I think we've got to, and I'm so grateful what's happening right now with DOGE and uncovering all this wasteful spending, not just wasteful spending, corrupt spending. This is going to shine a light on what's going on in the Catholic Church. And we got to dig deeper into this. I think there's a lot of the same people that have been messing around with America that are messing around with the Catholic Church. Just like there's been weaponization of government in America, there has been weaponization of government in the Catholic Church. As you already mentioned, I've been a victim and a target of that, many others, and it is time that this be exposed. Years ago, the communications director for the United States Catholic bishops wrote a book called Nothing to Hide. Russell Shaw is his name. And he pointed out in that book that we got a problem with transparency in the Catholic Church. We believe, I'm a practicing Catholic too, like John, like you mentioned, you are as well. Listen, we believe in the hierarchy. We believe in the way Jesus structured the church. We believe in legitimate authority. But we don't believe that they should be able to hide behind their authority and not explain to people why they're making the decisions they're making, how they're doing the things that they're doing. And now I think we're at a great moment, because just as the voters rejected woke culture in this last election, those same voters are sitting in the pews of the churches. It's time to reject wokeness in the church. And one of the ways we do that is be a little bit more discriminating in how we spend our money. Maybe we don't want to give it to Catholic charities. There's thousands of other ministries and missions in the church that we could support as good Catholics.
Yeah. Fascinating.
And speaking of rejecting notions, I have a lot of Catholic friends who are sorely disappointed with Pope Francis. Do you anticipate a change could be coming?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I think people want to. I just sent out a tweet the other day saying, hey, listen, we're enjoying this new presidency in the United States. How about Pope Francis take Pope Benedict's example, step aside. It'll be a blessing for the church and the world. No disrespect intended. It's just a fact, because people are confused. We don't want to, wish ill on anyone or say that, even impute bad motives. But people are confused. The role of the Pope is to clarify and strengthen people in the faith, not to confuse them. This Pope, by their fruits you will know them. Whatever his intentions are, we can't read his heart, but we can certainly see the results. He's creating a lot of confusion, and it's time for a breath of fresh air in the church leadership, just like we have a breath of fresh air in the White House.
Give us a new term, the deep church. That's a very important one. That's a good one, Frank.
Let's work together.
Curriculum.
Let's work together on that. I think there's a lot more to be exposed.
I would like to do that, sir. I would.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank Pavone, Director of Priests for Life, and also the National Co-Chair for Pro-Life Voices for Trump. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. You are always a breath of fresh air. Thank you, sir.
Thank you both.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hey, America, the fight to restore our great nation is only beginning, and now is the time to take a stand, and Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. That's important, right? Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and our freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. Now, if you have cell phone service today, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with a coverage guarantee. But the difference is every dollar you spend supports the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responders. Switching is easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% US-based customer support team are going to help you find the right plan for you. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/justnews or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with promo code JUSTNEWS. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/justnews or call 972-PATRIOT. Welcome back, America. It was such a busy day. I don't want the entire day to pass without paying attention to something that happened on Capitol Hill, the first DOGE subcommittee hearing. It was a doozy. And by the way, I've been reading a lot in the New York Times and AP stories saying, everyone keeps saying without any proof that there's fraud in government. Oh my gosh, anyone who watched today's subcommittee hearing found the proof. They got the receipts. Joining us right now, a member of that great subcommittee that held that hearing today, Texas Congressman Michael Cloud. Congressman, good to have you on the show, sir.
Oh, good to have you. Man, what a day.
It was a day. It was amazing. You and your colleagues on the subcommittee prosecuted a really important case, helping people understand just how wasteful government bureaucrats are. Give us some of the highlights, things that you think most mattered today to the American public.
Well, we've known something's wrong, right? It's things just aren't working. We're not getting a good ROI for our taxpayer dollar, and we're beginning to see and understand why. When you find out really that in so many ways our tax dollars are going to nefarious purposes. Some of it's just waste, fraud, abuse, mismanagement. But then even within that, one of the things that came up was about the internal threat and the external threat. Billions of our dollars are going overseas to countries that are working against us to undermine us. Some of these monies are going to NGOs that are set up in other countries, even to lobby against American companies that are trying to do business here. We've seen the long list of stuff that's been going to countries for drag shows and crazy stuff like that, across the world. And the American people are sitting back home going, I'm trying to make ends meet, and this is what you're using my tax dollars for? You've been telling me it's been going to things that are important, and this is not. And so all the stuff's coming uncovered, and the American people are seeing that the important work that President Trump's doing, this is a reform election. This is about getting this government working again for the American people, and us here in Congress realizing that we're here to serve the American people. This should be a bipartisan course correction, but they have just lost their minds on the left side of the aisle, so to speak. And as many times as they can say Elon's name, they think it's going to be a win for them. The American people aren't buying it.
I think you're right.
Congressman, I tuned in and out and back in and out of this committee hearing, and I got to tell you, it did not disappoint. It was incredible. But it seemed like towards the end, there was maybe only one Democrat who was left standing. Do you anticipate that at any point Democrats will re-engage and try to get back on the side of getting rid of waste, fraud, and mismanagement? Does it seem like there is any impetus whatsoever for them to want to join the fight?
I hope so. I don't know about you. I remember Bill Clinton standing at the podium and saying the era of big government is over.
That's right.
And of course, since then, it's only grown massively. And now we see again that are in many ways our government's become a money laundering scheme for these leftist organizations and ideologies. And so this could be a bipartisan issue. Certainly much of the problem has been, and how we got here, been a bipartisan issue in the sense of how it was created, certainly exacerbated over the last 4 years with the Biden administration. But this could be something that we join hands and say, hey, it's time to right the ship. This is waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not even talking about changing policy right now. We're just talking, right now we spend $2 trillion more a year than we take in. We might be able to cut that in half just by getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. That's not even an argument over policy. That's just getting rid of improper payments and money that's going to crazy things that it shouldn't be going to. And then we can have those substantive conversations over what's really important and what we should be funding. But unfortunately, so far, what we've seen is just, you would think they would have learned the lesson from the election, but it would seem that they have not.
Yeah, it is amazing. Sir, one of the big topics today, Medicaid and all the fraud that can be saved. And that's a big return on investment. Tell us a little bit about what you heard today on that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Improper payments alone could potentially get us about $50 billion a year. And some of the ways that right now, the number one demographic on Medicaid right now is able-bodied people who are able to work. That's not that Medicaid was originally designed to help, people who are disabled or children or pregnant moms or these sorts of things. And so, us getting this back to right now, we need people in the workforce, and people should be working if they can work. And so just us taking care of these simple things that are 80% issues with the American people, we can begin to right the ship on these sorts of things. And again, $50 billion of just improper payments. Does anybody disagree with that? Well, apparently today in the committee, people were arguing against us addressing those kind of issues. But again, the American people are with us on this. They want to see a government that functions for them. None of us like paying taxes, but we could understand the need of it. But when it's going to waste, fraud, and abuse, man, that's not what we're supposed to be doing up here. We've got to right this ship. We have to remember it's not our money; it's the American people's money.
Yeah, important point.
Sir, I want to ask you about what happened over on the Senate side of Capitol Hill. So much news coming out, but among it, Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as DNI. This is someone who I think had a relatively rocky road getting to this point. The only Republican who voted against her was former leader and now Senator Mitch McConnell. Your take on that? How big of a reformer is she going to be in that role?
Well, this is going to be great, really. She was actually targeted, and now we have somebody who was targeted now serving as a director of national intelligence. So that's remarkable, and exactly what the American people voted for when they said, we want reform. We don't want a government that's weaponized against us, and what President Trump has done in putting forth a slate of candidates that are coming in not to fill a seat, not to maintain the status quo, not to play bureaucrat, but they're coming in to get changes for the American people. They're not looking for a career of this, but they are coming in, again, to get wins for the American people and to get this government functioning for the people instead of against them. And so it's exciting to see that happening, and it's good to see that the Senate is understanding that President Trump and many of them basically rode his coattails into office, and it's good to see them supporting the president's agenda that needs to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quickly, sir, the progress being made towards Russia-Ukraine peace rapid today, talks going on, optimism. Just get your quick reaction to that.
Yeah, here you see a president who understands that peace through strength isn't just a talking point, and the stability he brings to the world. One of the things we can appreciate his savviness in the economy and what he's done in his first term that we can point to, that we see him already working on in the second term. But some things that people forget is the amazing foreign policy accomplishments he had, the Abraham Accords, him doing everything he can, no new wars started, and really, truly having genuine care and concern. Yes, America first, but we don't want people dying in these other countries as well from needless wars. So let's bring the people to the table. Let's see if we can bring peace. And this is the kind of thing that should be getting you Nobel Peace Prizes if they had their head on straight. But it's good to see the respect that foreign leaders have now for the White House. A stark contrast to where we were just a month ago.
Yeah. So the work you're doing at DOGE, I think, will be generationally impactful. You're going to save future generations a whole lot of debt with the great work you're doing. A great honor to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. God bless y'all.
Yeah, it was well said. Thank you. All right, folks, coming up, we'll talk more about one of the agencies the Trump administration could be cutting entirely. The Department of Education, the superintendent of Oklahoma schools, Ryan Walters, up next right after these messages.
Welcome back, everybody. In the ongoing effort to make the federal government just a little bit skinnier, just a teeny tiny bit, one of those agencies that's in the crosshairs of not only DOGE, but also parents across America is the Department of Education. Because let's face it, based on standardized test scores, it's not really doing a bang-up job for anyone except for maybe the unions. So with us to talk about that is Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I want to ask you about specifically because, you know, in the past when we've had this conversation about stripping away the Department of Education, it's been kind of an esoteric topic because it had not come to fruition with respect to President Trump taking office. What does that actually look like? Does it look like keeping a skeleton crew at the top at the federal government and then sending all the rest of the money back to the states? Does it mean scrapping it all together? What's the ideal scenario?
Oh, look, I think the ideal scenario is getting it completely done away with. There should not be a Department of Education. So I think that has to happen, right? President Trump, I mean, it's amazing how quickly he has moved. I've told my staff, be ready to go every day. I mean, the new executive orders that come down every day are tremendous. And again, he's showing, listen, this apparatus is standing in the way of educational progress, not promoting it. So again, the agency has to go away in its entirety, number one. Number two, absolutely, if there's something that Congress wants to incentivize across the country, that's fine. Block grant it to states. Okay, give them full autonomy over those dollars where they can innovate, they can help accelerate some learning in some of those degrees. Number three, and one of the biggest answers here is universal school choice. Congress should pass President Trump's universal school choice package. That way, every parent in the country has those options available to them. Every parent's empowered, no matter if you're in a red state or blue state. This unlocks the potential of every learner. You do those three things, and President Trump's agenda here, you're going to see an America stronger than ever with a future brighter than ever. And again, President Trump has been moving right along with that. Linda McMahon can't wait for her confirmation hearing. She's going to knock it out of the park. I just cannot be more excited about the vision and the first few steps of doing away with this agency.
Man. Sir, speaking of vision, you have been leading day in and day out on novel new ways to make the education system better in Oklahoma. We've had John for almost every one of the developments, a new one in the last couple of weeks, the State Board of Education. We had this on Just the News the other day, starting the process to put a rule in that schools have to ask parents the immigration status of children so you know how many illegal immigrants are in the school system and what burden they add to the finances. Tell us why this is important. I know the left's gone nuts with it, but this has a sound rationale for why you're doing it.
Yeah, the left has gone nuts over it, but look, here's the reality. We know at a minimum that we have over 4,000 illegal immigrants in our schools, which has cost the state $474 million under Joe Biden. Okay, that's an amount that taxpayers, hey, we don't account for that when we budget. We don't tell schools. I mean, that's information we don't know, but we have now gotten it from voluntary information given over by parents. So the reality is that's a minimum. We need to understand exactly how big is the issue of illegal immigration in our school? What's the exact number, number one? Number two, what countries are we talking about that they're coming from? Because again, what we're having to do is allocate resources in real time. Teachers' classrooms are bulging, some over 30 students per class. You have resources that are being diverted to cover the needs of these students that again are coming from all over the world. We have to get a handle of this issue. Number one. Number two, we've got to be able to work with law enforcement. ICE and President Trump have said, listen, schools, if we need information, if we launch an investigation, you have to work with us, which, by the way, is common sense, right? I mean, you've got MS-13 that has come across the border and into our schools. You have child sex trafficking. We've got tens of thousands of kids that have been sex trafficked across the border. Of course, if law enforcement says, listen, we need information around this family, do you have it? We've got to be able to provide that to them so that, again, kids can be deported with their families if their families are being deported. Kids can be protected in case they're in danger of a gang. And three, of course, if they've been sex trafficked, we have to make sure that we identify these individuals and get them to safety.
Yeah. So important.
You know, another one of the left's initiatives when it comes to education is DEI, and we recently learned that the Biden administration routed $1 billion to DEI. Now, I'm doing math in my head, and I'm a product of public school, so this is either a testament to or an indictment of the Department of Education, but I believe you take $1 billion over 50 states, and that's $20 million per state. What could states have done with $20 million to enrich students more so than DEI?
Guys, it's unbelievable. When I took office, I was fighting some of my fellow Republicans that were going, just take all the federal dollars, all of them. And I go, guys, Some of this has absolute nonsense tied to it. It's got critical race theory. It's got DEI. It's got transgenderism. In math grants, what states could have done with this is we could have had more tutoring. All the kids that fell behind, we could have helped catch them back up. We could have had more direct instruction in math where kids could actually do basic arithmetic. So when they enter the workforce, they actually could build upon that. Maybe they get into an engineering program. We could have had more kids in our career technical colleges and institutes. Think about that. Think about more welders, electricians. I mean, think about all the opportunities that were missed here because Joe Biden's administration was obsessed with the cult of wokeism. And again, you look at this and you look at how destructive it is, and you also look at the missed opportunity that we could have been innovating. We could have been doing things like merit pay like we do in Oklahoma, rewarding the best and brightest teachers. We could have had these initiatives launched nationwide, but they were more concerned with sowing hatred for America and undermining the basic units of our country and society than they were educating our kids.
The head scratcher. Real quickly, sir, we only got about a minute left. I know you're concerned about the declines that we see across the country, math, reading, the core basics. What are some insights you're learning about how you can turn the tide on those trend lines?
Yeah, look, I mean, you see these numbers. I mean, this is Joe Biden's, education system. Again, you see across the board, the involvement from the federal government made things worse. What we've seen here in Oklahoma that works is this. You've got to bring free market incentives into schools. We came in and said, look, if you're a failing school, if you don't right the ship, we're going to take you over and we're going to turn you into a charter school. Hey, teachers, if you do a great job, we pay you more. Tutors, if you catch kids back up, we pay you more. We use school choice across the board. When you allow the free market to work, it works in conjunction with human behavior. It works with those instincts that human beings have to achieve better when they're incentivized that way. Right now, every incentive is the opposite. You fail, we give you more money. Okay, well, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to get more failure. So we've got to continue to push for free market solutions in education. We've got to continue to drive the teachers' unions out. Parents in, parents want to be involved, invite them in, bring them along with their kids' educational career, and you're going to see flourishing like we've seen here in Oklahoma.
Amazing.
In practically every other field, you are paid more based on your merit and your experience and your ability to do the job well. It has always baffled me that that's not a part of the education and teacher pay structure. Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters, you're an innovator in Oklahoma, and we love having your voice here on this show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we've got more to discuss on the other side of this. We're not a discussion block, though. We've got a guest, so stay tuned.
Welcome back, America. We're going to jump into that conversation about pro-life victories in a second. But first, some breaking news from Just the News. Just a few minutes ago, a state appeals court in Florida handed Donald Trump a major win, saying that his lawsuit against the Pulitzer Committee can proceed, and he has the right to try to prove that the Pulitzer Committee acted with, get a load of this, actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth by awarding those Pulitzers to those Russia collusion stories that turned out to be, well, as we all know, not a real story. More of that over at justthenews.com. Go check it out right now. We're going to dive right in here. We're very lucky to be joined by the CEO and president for 40 Days for Life, Sean Carney. Sean, great to have you on the show. What a few months it's been for the pro-life movement. I think the most epic moment, maybe just a week or two ago, when all Democrats voted against the Born Alive Act. I don't know how they can do this, but tell us the politics and the optics of this.
Well, it's sick. I mean, this is a law that would protect a child who committed some kind of crime by surviving the attempt on their life. This is for abortion survivors to give them medical care if they survive an abortion. And all Democrats but one voted against this. None in the Senate, only one congressman. And this just goes beyond politics, John. I mean, this isn't like healthcare or do we invade Iraq or not, or big pharma. This is basic decency. What's wrong with these people? That they would just leave a baby girl left to die. And this does happen in many states throughout our country. You know, we put Kermit Gosnell, the Philly abortionist, in prison for 3 accounts of murder because he cut the heads off of babies after they were born. Do we need to free him? Do Democrats want to free him? Do they want to give Scott Peterson, who's on death row for the death of his wife who was pregnant, and he got second-degree murder for the unborn child? Are we going to give him a mistrial? He wants one. I think most Democrats, I guess they would say yes. It's really unprecedented. Even Planned Parenthood 15 years ago wouldn't go near a law like this.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
And for Democrats who are so #girl boss, is there anything more girl boss than a baby girl surviving an abortion? It's unbelievable. I want to ask you about what President Trump can do, though, in his second term for the pro-life movement, because he did so much in his first term. What is left for him to accomplish in this category?
Yeah, well, he picked up where he left off after being the most pro-life president we've ever had by far. He immediately took all international funds for abortions overseas away. He defunded Planned Parenthood internationally, which is huge in places like Latin America and Africa, where we've gone in and told people who love families that they shouldn't have any children. He has hit the ground running. The next big step, something he wanted to do in January of 17, but he didn't have the strength of Paul Ryan and other weak Republicans, but he has that now, and that is defunding Planned Parenthood here at home. They get $750 million of tax dollars. They do 392 abortions in their last reported year. There is no reason. If everybody is saying this is no longer a federal issue, it goes up to the states, they shouldn't get federal dollars. They have the votes to do it. They need to defund Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, that'll be a historic moment, and one that I talked to a lot of lawmakers this week. There's momentum going towards that. That's going to be a big moment. There have been other victories in the courts, some that you yourself have been involved in. Bring us up to speed on just the victories that the pro-life movement is scoring right now.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, 40 Days for Life, we hold peaceful vigils, in 1,700 cities. We're the largest pro-life organization in the world, and we've had to defend our free speech. We won a huge case in Westchester, New York. We won the first provision where they're just trying to ban, they're not apologizing for it, they're trying to ban 40 Days for Life, these peaceful people. There's been no crime, there's been no incident. They're just trying to ban us from being outside their local abortion facility. Even if you're like 120 meters away in a coffee shop, you could be charged with a felony. So we won the first provision of that against these buffer zones, which, by the way, the Supreme Court unanimously over its history has said that these aren't, Ginsburg said they're un-American. The Supreme Court's always rejected these. So the way our case is built, if we win in Westchester, the second revision, this will go to the Supreme Court, and we look forward to banning buffer zones for all Americans. This is a huge free speech victory, no matter what side you're on.
Sir, a lot of Americans watched and cheered as Senator Tommy Tuberville became a serious thorn in the side of Democrats when it came to the Pentagon funding travel for service members for abortion. That is no longer happening under this administration. What does that mean for the pro-life movement?
It's great, and he's great. It makes you want to root for Auburn, even though I can't do that as an Aggie. It's just a wonderful victory. You know, basically Biden, once the Roe was overturned, he made abortion a sacrament. You know, and just any department, please push abortion. And now the Pentagon, you know, is flying women. It's so degrading to our military servicemen and women. And so he got rid of that. And I just think you're going to see, you know, the FDA deregulating the abortion pills, all of this stuff. The Trump administration is doing a great job at going back, looking at this, and God bless Tuberville.
Yeah, that's a big moment. You picked a big fight. She's an Auburn grad. You got to be careful there with that one. No,
I didn't know that. I promise.
Yes. Oh, don't get her started, please. Real quickly.
I know it.
I want to get just quickly. All right, we only got about 30 seconds. RFK Jr. says he's going to study safety of abortion pill. That was a surprise for a lot of people. Why is that important?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm an RFK fan. I have been, because he said he would uphold the Trump, you know, pro-life agenda. I've talked to his people. Not only does he want to go after the dangerous abortion pills because they have killed women, they have harmed women, they're also bad for the environment, and that is something that he has brought up repeatedly. And so it's very exciting to have him to get a fresh look and to look at these dangerous big pharma abortion pills.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Sean Carney, it's very exciting to have you as well, president of 40 Days for Life. Thanks so much for being here. Glad we could finally get you on. I know scheduling's been a little wonky, but we appreciate you sticking in there and being with us tonight. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us on this evening. Grant Stinchfield is going to take you through the next hour, but we will be back here tomorrow night. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Real America's Voice. Have a safe and blessed night.
Welcome, everybody. You're listening to Stinchfield. Welcome to the program. Folks, here's the situation. We've got breaking news for you, and a lot of news tonight. A federal judge in Massachusetts has restored President Trump's buyout program for these federal employees. Letters that went out to 2 million employees. Of course, they sued, tried to stop it. The federal judge says that program can be restored. That is good news and all part of President Trump's cost-cutting program. Pam Bondi has filed charges as the Attorney General against Kathy Hochul and Letitia James in New York over their sanctuary cities policies. We'll get into that in the program. And President Trump talked to Vladimir Putin today, working out details to end the war in Ukraine. So a lot to talk about. But we begin with more news, of course, about DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk making waves. Well, today, the United States Congress held a hearing, the DOGE Subcommittee hearing on cost-cutting measures. Marjorie Taylor Greene, our good friend, is the chairwoman of that committee. This is how she opened it up.
In 2025, interest payments are projected to be $952 billion, which is more than our entire military budget. In 2026, it will be $1 trillion, and by 2035, $1.8 trillion. Over the next decade, total interest payments are projected to be $13.8 trillion.
So you're talking a massive amount of money. Yet Democrats are fighting this every step of the way, tooth and nail. You know, this is what I would describe as an 80-20 issue. 80% of Americans are on board with cutting costs, limiting the size of government, stopping the waste, fraud, and abuse. 20%, the Trump derangement syndrome Americans, are against it. But by and large, Americans are totally for it. Marjorie Taylor Greene continued.
We as Republicans and Democrats can still hold tightly to our beliefs, but we are going to have to let go of funding them in order to save our sinking ship. This is not a time for political theater and partisan attacks. The American people are watching. The legislative branch can't sit on the sidelines. In this subcommittee, we will fight the war on waste shoulder to shoulder with President Trump, Elon Musk, and the DOGE team.
You know, what I would want them to be doing is fighting this shoulder to shoulder with Democrats, too, because why wouldn't liberals want to cut the waste? Why wouldn't liberals want to cut the corruption and the fraud? So the Democrat Party right now is crumbling as they show their support for waste, fraud, and abuse. They can't defend the recklessness at all, as President Trump and Elon Musk's team exposes what I would call corruption, by the way. This is Democrat Congresswoman Crockett.
Right now, they have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for. And absolutely, he is occupying the Oval Office, as we saw yesterday. And that is a first for me, to see someone occupying the Oval Office who's never actually been elected to the Oval Office and actually answering more questions than the person that allegedly got elected.
Did she not just go through 4 years like we did of Joe Biden, with literally numerous unelected officials, former members of Congress, former presidents occupying the Oval Office? Now, Jake Sullivan, Susan Rice, we can go through the list of those pulling the strings of Joe Biden. Elon Musk isn't pulling the strings. And if she was watching the same news conference I was watching with Trump in the Oval Office, Trump was sitting behind the Resolute desk and Elon Musk was standing there. And Trump would tell him when to speak or answer. Elon Musk works for the president. And is she surprised that there are people that are employees of the federal government? And yes, Elon Musk is now an employee of the federal government. So is his team. There are employees in Washington, and they do work at the behest of President Trump. Now, here's what we're looking at. Elon Musk discovered this limestone mine where they keep all the retirement papers of federal employees. There's the pictures. He said it is so backward, built in the 1950s, they still use manila envelopes. They can't retire enough employees daily because they can't move the literally physical envelopes around and get the elevator down to the bottom of the mine where the papers are kept quick enough. It's backwards. He says losing a lot of money. The Social Security Administration, here's what they found there. $1 million on a Gender X initiative. The Forest Service, $375,000 on DEI onboarding. $30,000 for a Central America gender assessment consultant. Department of Agriculture, $230,000 for, you ready for this? A Brazilian forest gender consultant. They're not even consulting gender nonsense here, but in Brazil. Department of Labor, $4 million for a DEI consultant. You know what the savings are? Elon Musk and his team estimate it comes out to $1 billion a day. Who would be against all of this? Democrats, of course. This is Representative Garcia, a liberal, on with Morning Joe.
I have zero interest working with Marjorie Taylor Greene, our chairwoman on this committee, or the House Republicans on this committee to help them with anything as it relates to DOGE. What we're there for and what we're there to do is to fight, to push back on the lies, to bring attention to what's going on right now at our agencies, and to make sure that people know that we are going to fight every single day.
Did he not hear? A gender consultant for a Brazilian forest? The American people are fed up with this. So insanity has taken over the Democrat Party. As I mentioned, they crumble. So they can't come up with legitimate arguments. You know what they come up with? They come up with the anti-DOGE anthem. Apparently this band, I'm going to name them, this is the Dem Caucus and the Wackadoodles.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against DOGE. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on?
I mean, you can't deny it's not catchy. That's all they got. Which side are you on? I mean, I'm on Elon's side. I'm on Trump's side. I'm on the side of the American taxpayer. I hate to answer your stupid question for your stupid song. That's what they've resorted to. They're insane, people. They've literally lost it. The Democrat Party is beside itself. So while they lose their minds, Republicans in Congress are literally trying to get to the bottom of all the spending and come up with solutions. This is our man, Tim Burchett.
How much money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs each year?
Yeah, my number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
Wait a second, $1 trillion a year doing that, added on top of all the crazy DEI nonsense, our deficit is $2 trillion. So we take in about $5 trillion, we spend about $7 trillion, hence the $2 trillion deficit. Our debt, the money we owe, different story, $30 trillion. The interest on our debt is more than we spend on the Department of Defense over at the Pentagon. We're broke, folks. This nation will destruct before our eyes if we don't get it under control, but I love that we are. $1 billion a day, says Elon Musk. So whose side are the Democrats really on, Senator Kennedy?
The people who are screaming so loudly about President Trump's decision to audit federal spending are the very same people under President Biden who wanted to hire 80,000 new IRS agents with guns to audit the American people.
That says it all, folks. Democrats are happy to audit you, but their pet spending projects, their out of control, wacky programs that I know are lining their pockets, they don't want that audited. Well, joining me now, Missouri Congressman and member of the DOGE Subcommittee, Republican Eric Burleson, is with us. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Great to be on.
What was your takeaway today from the hearings, Congressman?
Well, you had two sides. You had Republicans come to the table, had an intellectual discourse, really trying to save this country, finding areas where we can cut spending without harming the American people. And then we had the Democrats on the other side just absolutely remind me of my kids when they were 2 and threw a total temper tantrum. I wanted to put them in timeout. I mean, it was ridiculous. But they, most of their attacks are ad hominem attacks against Elon Musk because he's wealthy, right? And so they're trying to build this some kind of narrative that he's in it for self-interest. And I'm like, look, the guy has $400 billion. He does not need this. He doesn't need the grief. He doesn't want to spend the time. He wants to save the country. So I'm glad that we have him. I think that we're very lucky to have Elon willing to come in, dedicate resources, not take a dime of taxpayer money, and do the Lord's work, something that this town has never been able to do. And we need somebody like him to, from the outside coming in to give us and really give Congress a kick in the rear to get spending under control.
President Trump just put an executive order out that ended the government program to pay for a lot of these electric vehicle charging stations. That's not going to be great for Elon Musk. But Elon Musk says, I don't want the money. I don't need it. We'll handle it ourselves. You mentioned Congress, because one of the things that I say on this program is, in many respects, Congress is responsible for this. I've got to believe there's committees that was looking at USAID and all these other things. They knew this spending was going on. I saw Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming about this years ago, and yet we never really, and I take blame too, Congressman, we never really took blame until now.
Yeah, and that's why, like, us fiscal hawks are excited about DOGE and about Trump and Musk. Because, for example, last 2 years have been awful. This is my first 2 years in Congress. It's been absolutely awful and depressing, because we would be excited. We would come forward with amendments. For example, Eli Crane had the amendment that eliminated or cut the spending to USAID. And you know how many people voted for it? 80 Republicans. The majority of the Republicans joined the Democrats to defeat that amendment. And so it's really going to take outside pressure. Congress is never going to fix itself. I mean, we are a bunch of drug addicts addicted to spending other people's money.
This is where President Trump comes in, because an administration takes on the personality of the leader. And clearly he's given the okay to Elon Musk, and he gives a backbone. I watched this. You weren't in Congress the last time President Trump was in office, but all of a sudden Republicans have these crazy backbones. I've never seen people so strong before, and that's because President Trump gives them cover. I would like to see all of you give President Trump some cover and maybe start passing some of these executive orders into law, so another president just doesn't come down and wipe them out, 4 years from now.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we need to do. So, for example, the EV charging stations. I had a bill for the last 2 years trying to pass that would eliminate the money that was sent on, this boondoggle, these EV charging stations, and the electric vehicle tax credits and all of that stuff, and couldn't get any traction. So, but now, I don't know how we can, at the end of the day, we need to, you're right, we have got to back up Trump's executive orders with all of the policy changes and make them permanent, because right now what he's doing is he's putting the executive order and he's having to fight things in the court because Congress is not taking action. Congress should do our job.
Well, I know you're trying up there, and you've been doing a great job up there 2 years, and I know you got some good help up there. MTG, Lauren Boebert, Tim Burchett comes on the program all the time, Andy Biggs. All these guys, they tried to shut you all out before, but it is a new day. Enjoy it, but fight hard, Congressman.
Thank you. We will. We're here to save America. We're fighting for you.
And if we can do anything to help you in that fight, you make sure you let us know about it, because, we got to have the backs of people that are bold up there. And that's what it takes, bold leadership. And again, President Trump, Elon Musk, they got it. Now, here's why you're going to need it. You heard the congressman mention the courts. Right now, what I'm seeing is a practice that Republicans use as well. It's called judge shopping. You go around the country and you take your lawsuit to stop, in our case, the Biden administration, in their case, the Trump administration, and you go find a judge where you know how he's going to rule, okay? So this happens because there are many courts where there's only one judge. So you've got 91 district courts in America that Congress set up. The secret is, like North Texas here, you have outposts. You have other little courthouses. There may be only one judge there. Amarillo has a judge, a Republican judge there, one judge. So every conservative can go to Amarillo and we know we can get something done, and it shuts the whole thing down. When it works in our favor, great. But now what we're seeing is it working against President Trump. I think this whole idea of judge shopping has to be completely ended and shut down. This is MSNBC talking somewhat about the process.
What you're seeing is a shock and awe assault on the foundations of our democracy with all of these unconstitutional and illegal actions. And a responding shock and awe by my group and our allies and many others, going to court and securing these orders, stopping them. I won orders last week, the very first case locking Mr. Musk out of the Treasury Department. He has no right to look at that data.
Of course he does. President Trump is the CEO of the company, our nation. He can look at whatever he wants to look at. And a district judge shouldn't have power over the executive action of a president. I do believe the Supreme Court should have that action. So here's what I'd like to see. Random cases given out. No matter where you are, you don't go to an outpost court where there's one judge. You get it randomly. 2, the judge's orders ought to only be good for the jurisdiction of the judge and maybe the parties involved. And that's it. Where you don't shut down the entire nation because of a radical judge in California. I want to bring in now former federal prosecutor and retired U.S. Marine John Deaton is with us. John, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, my friend.
Well, thank you for your service, John. And I got to tell you, this has been an issue that both sides certainly use. Can it ever change? I know there's some legislation that's been proposed. It never seems to get through. Will this ever change?
Probably not. But just think of the concept. We have a judge. I'm in Massachusetts. I still practice in Rhode Island. And the attorney general said, you know what, we're going to sue Trump and the administration. We got to stop this. God forbid we actually look at our spending. God forbid we get rid of some fraud, waste, and abuse and save taxpayers' money. But we're going to stop that. How do we do that? We find a judge that we know is going to give us what we want. So then we can say, hey, this little district judge in Rhode Island is stopping the president of the United States and the will of the people who just elected him. It is pretty absurd when you see it in practice, Grant.
All right. So Sonia Sotomayor, a Supreme Court justice, comes out to the rescue for her liberal judges. Listen to what she says as President Trump and his team start thinking, hey, should we ignore some of these district court opinions? Listen to the Supreme Court justice.
Court decisions stand, whether one particular person chooses to abide by them or not. It doesn't change the foundation that it's still a court order that someone will respect at some point.
I think, John, Joe Biden didn't respect the court order of the United States Supreme Court when they ruled that his student loan payoff program was unconstitutional. He basically ignored that. President Trump's talking about district court judges. And I think it's different when you have a president than what she's talking about there, John.
100%. Listen, the Supreme Court invalidated, allowing the Biden administration to allow plumbers to pay for Harvard MBAs, right? And they said, no, that's unconstitutional. What does Joe Biden do? Or someone under him turns around, circumvents the United States Supreme Court law of the land. What we're talking about with President Trump right now are district court judges who are saying, no, you can't stop. You can't freeze government spending. You have to pay these people. Now imagine that, and the viewers imagine, Grant, that President Trump, Elon Musk, they see that this is fraud, but we have to still pay for it? That's insane. And I can understand people saying, well, why would you listen to a district court judge? But you made the best distinction. There's a big difference between a federal district court judge in Rhode Island or California and the United States Supreme Court.
Do you think this idea that a district court's opinion would work if it works for his district, his jurisdiction, and you don't push it all the way across the country?
yeah, we have to do something to change that. But, the good news here is that the First Circuit went up to appeal. The First Circuit here on the Rhode Island decision where they said they're going to freeze, not allow Trump to freeze government spending. But the good news is we're probably going to see the Supreme Court come down in the next few weeks and resolve this.
Yeah, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, a Massachusetts judge, by the way, ruled in favor that President Trump does have the right to offer these buyouts to 2 million federal employees, and that program can go forward. John Deaton, I appreciate you coming on the program today. First time. We'll have to get you back real soon.
It'll be my pleasure, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The feeling's mutual. All right, folks. So we'll continue to follow that. There is some signs that there's some legislation being talked about up in D.C. We'll follow that, see if we can get that pushed through to change all this so President Trump gets some relief from these radical courts. All right. If you want to look and feel your best, you have to check out Pure Health Research. They have 45 premium health supplements designed to help with almost every wellness goal, whether it's boosting your energy, trimming belly fat, supporting health blood sugar, or even reducing swelling. Pure Health Research has you covered. Each formula is crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients, backed by clinical research and made right here in the USA. With their 365-day money-back guarantee, there's zero risk in trying something new. Go to purehealthresearch.com. Do it now. Save 50% with coupon code Stinchfield. All right, activist lawmakers are now on notice after Attorney General Pam Bondi dropped a bombshell today. The bombshell drops a bombshell. How about that one? folks, during the campaign, President Trump made some promises to us. He is keeping all of them. So he promised to root out the corruption. He promised to root out the out-of-control spending. He's doing just that. He also said, I am your retribution. Remember that? Because it is what we all want. Now, President Trump won't call what he's doing here retribution because really it's just holding people accountable. And in the end, that is what we want too. But I'm okay with calling it retribution because these mother scratchers deserve it. I'm talking about Governor Kathy Hochul of New York and Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York. These are bad cats. They have done a lot to hurt the people of New York and this country with their sanctuary city policies, not to mention their out-of-control lawfare against President Trump. But when it comes to sanctuary cities, Pam Bondi, our new Attorney General, just filed charges against Kathy Hochul and Letitia James. Listen to this.
And what they've done is they have a tip-off provision that requires New York's DMV commissioner to promptly inform any illegal alien when a federal immigration agency has requested their information. So think about the men and women in law enforcement behind me. That's basically, that's not basic. It's tipping off an illegal alien, and it's unconstitutional.
So it's not like Hochul or Letitia James can go to jail over this. It's a civil lawsuit. But it is charging them with these basically crimes for failing to obey federal law. And so the Department of Motor Vehicles higher up will also fall into this because they're giving driver's licenses to all these illegals. Here, Pam Bondi goes beyond what she was just talking about.
Where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today.
So let's remember what this is really about. Certainly it's about holding Hochul and Letitia James accountable, but it's also about keeping the American people safe. You know, we call them angel families, those who have lost loved ones at the hands of illegal aliens. There was an angel mom who told the story about her daughter who died at the hands of an illegal alien in New York.
Kayla's story. Her murderer was able to come across the border knowing that he was flagged as an MS-13 gang member, and he had a criminal record in 2020 in El Salvador for illicit gang activity. He came over as an unoccupied alien child, saying that he was afraid of gang activity in his country. Health and Human Services called him a nice boy, and he showed age-appropriate behavior. That fell so wrong when he murdered my daughter.
Yeah, that nice boy was an MS-13 goon, killer. And of course the Democrats let them in, enabled by Kathy Hochul and Letitia James and others in states across this great country of ours. The time is now for accountability. I want to bring in former Border Patrol agent and author of the upcoming book Treason. Our buddy JJ Carroll is back. JJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for playing the angel mom, because these disastrous policies have real life consequences. And if that illegal alien was never in America, her daughter would still be alive today. And the ripple effect of that loss and that pain would never have happened.
All right, JJ, you've worked the border. Are you surprised by the details of her story? Is that kid comes across, military-age male kid, I'm sure, but probably not, a 4-year-old, and says, oh, no, I'm no gang member, probably has tats all over his face, and in they come.
All of them were released. Joe Biden's Border Patrol and CBP ICE officers arrested over 12 million people in 4 years, and they released 95 to 97% of all of them. Those men that you're showing right now with the MS-13 tats on their face, they were releasing them as well. They were releasing hardcore gang members. The ICE actually admitted actually admitted to releasing over 15,000 murderers, over 16,000 rapists and sexual offenders into America. That's just what they admitted. So no, I'm not surprised at this at all, Grant.
How difficult does the Letitia Jameses of the world, the Kathy Hochul's of the world, the New York lawmakers make the jobs of law enforcement difficult to keep the people safe? How important is this lawsuit against them that Bondi has filed?
This is the beginning of the lawsuits and the arrests that are going to come. When you pull over someone, or you need help from a law enforcement officer, instead of turning over a gang member, a rapist, a murderer, a child rapist into the Border Patrol or ICE, they just simply release them into America. Look what they're doing in LAPD. Los Angeles Police Department has 9,000 officers. Pam Bondi's saying, we're going to withhold all of your money. Same thing in New York. We're going to withhold your money. Now, I want your audience to understand, state and local police departments depend heavily on the federal funding. I'm talking millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars. So LAPD has 9,000 officers. We're talking about scrubbing them down, meaning there's going to not any more recruiting and hiring. We're going to take your money from the federal task forces, so much so that you're not going to have enough money for gas in your car. You're not going to have enough money for new squad cars. It will be profound, but you have to take their money away in order to make them scream uncle.
Yeah. I want to make it clear to everybody out there, this is what I relate it to. It's the same situation when people blame Israel for Palestinians dying when Israel's bombing terrorists there. The terrorists have brought this on themselves. In LA and other cities, the administrators there bring it on themselves when they do not enforce law, because here's the reality, JJ. They can get that money very easily. Just work with ICE, enforce federal law, and the money will continue to flow, and nobody has to worry, and the citizens will be fine. Citizens better not blame President Trump. They got to blame the liberals who aren't following the laws. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. And maybe the biggest question that needs to be asked of all these people, why? Why do you want to protect murderers and rapists and child rapists at the expense of your American citizens? Why would you do this? Why are you so ideologically bent to allow this type of horror to continue on in your communities? And the answer is they don't care. That's the truth. They just don't care, Grant. And now we need a clean sweep of America, of all these politicians, all the corruption, all the graft, all of that has to go. But we are going to have to go through a massive amount of pain in order to get there. You're allowing illegal aliens that are horrific individuals that are causing pain and suffering to Americans, and they're being protected by our politicians. It's unbelievable. It's like we live in the Twilight Zone, Grant.
Yeah. I will say, certainly with President Trump at the helm now, and Tom Homan as the border czar, and Pam Bondi at the Attorney General's office, things are changing. I feel much more relaxed about things as we move forward. Still the same passion, still the same fight, but man, we're in a much better spot than we were, pre-November election, where we didn't know which way everything was going. So this is good, and it's having an effect, because I just saw, and I'll give you the last word on this, gotaways are down 90%. These are the people that they know have gotten away from Border Patrol. These are the most dangerous people. They were sneaking in the 90% gotaways are down. That's a tremendous number, JJ.
It's incredible what they're doing on the border, what Donald Trump is doing, what Rodney Scott, the commissioner of ICE, and what Tom Homan is doing with the help of Bondi and Noam. It's amazing what Trump has been able to accomplish, but we must back them and support them, because we have 50 million illegal aliens in our country. 1 in 6 to 1 in 7 residents is an illegal alien in America. This is going to be a Herculean effort, but it can be done because we have the right people in place now. I'm very optimistic, very hopeful.
Yep. I am too. I'm grateful for you coming on and laying it out for us too. And I'm excited about the book coming out. Treason comes out on February 18th. Congratulations on that, J.J. Carroll. And I know it examines the Biden administration's destruction of American sovereignty. We know about that. Buddy, thank you as always.
Thank you, Grant. Have a great night.
Absolutely. You too. All right, folks, you need to learn about energized health and intercellular hydration. I've told you, I went through the program, I lost 15 pounds. Here's what you do. Supercharge your energy, boost your immune system, and dramatically increase your brain function. Look and feel years younger, all through a simple and natural process. Don't believe me? Go to energizedhealth.com and check out hundreds of amazing testimonials. Energized Health offers a 100% money-back guarantee. They're A+ rated and have helped thousands over 20 years. Go to energizedhealth.com. While you are there, check out their free masterclass. That is energizedhealth.com. All right, President Trump negotiated a hostage return, Russia will call them prisoners, from Russia, and we are talking about ending the war in Ukraine now. Trump has a call with Putin. We'll talk about that next. Folks, I'll tell you what, I got such great news. This event at the White House last night was so fabulous to watch. Mark Fogel, a teacher who got caught with marijuana in Russia. That's a no-no these days. Brittany Griner, she's famous, she's black, she's a basketball star. Joe Biden felt okay with getting her out. Couldn't get Fogel out. Well, President Trump could. He made a promise to Fogel's mom at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, by the way. This is Mark Fogel speaking out in front of the press at the White House yesterday.
I feel like the luckiest man on earth right now. And I want you to know that I am not a hero in this at all. And President Trump is a hero. These men that came from the diplomatic service are heroes.
All right, there's very interesting interaction at the White House today. Caroline Leavitt was asked if Russia is our enemy, if they are just our competitor, or if they're an adversary. She said most certainly they're an adversary and a competitor, which I agree with. They most certainly are. You may be able to throw them into enemy status, but clearly President Trump today said he had a wonderful call with Putin. They talked about how their nations work together, going back to World War II working together, and I have great hopes that Vladimir Putin and President Trump will get along like they did before, and some of the tensions will subside. Now, do I trust them? No. Do I think they are going to stop their rabble-rousing? No. But they'll do it less than they did under Joe Biden. And what does this mean for the Ukraine war? President Trump talked about how we end it. I want to bring in former special assistant to President Trump and Army Colonel retired Derek Harvey. Colonel Harvey, it's great to have you back on the program.
Great to be here, Grant.
All right, I saw President Trump's comments about the call with Putin. He seemed very upbeat. I tend to believe him that he was upbeat, but what will this actually mean, do you think, Colonel?
Well, I think, first of all, the president is showing great leadership, and he is engaged, unlike what we've had the past 4 years. And he does care about people, and he does want to resolve these conflicts. And he's willing to stir it up a little bit and, prod and see what is possible by engaging with these people. He's done it with Gaza, the Abraham Accords, the current initiatives that he's put forward. But in this case, they're setting the boundaries already. They're saying, the war really isn't winnable for Ukraine. They're probably not going to be able to retake the ground that Russia has acquired. NATO needs to step up. There needs to be some sort of framework for security guarantees when there is a deal. But this war needs to stop, and NATO and the European Union is going to have to step up and do more than the 2%. Pete Hegseth is asking for them to increase it to 5% of their GDP. So he's willing to engage and throw things out there. It might not all stick, but he wants to make a difference instead of just letting it go on cruise control.
I think everything President Trump does is strategic, and you know him in this manner, Colonel. So when you look at him saying he wants the Riviera of the Middle East and Gaza and then brings in the King of Jordan, he's sending a message to the Middle East that I'm talking with all of these people, and he's sending a message to Hamas. When he says to Zelensky, hey, we want you to pay you, and you got all these rare earth minerals, my belief is he's actually sending a message to Vladimir Putin that if you don't work this out, I'm taking the rare earth minerals that probably Vladimir Putin wants. And then that becomes a negotiating tool, but it's not openly talked about. But I do believe that's where he's coming at. Everything seems to be strategic, Colonel.
Absolutely right. And he has selected a group of 4 people to take the lead in these engagements. Mr. Witkoff, who's the special envoy, CIA Director Radcliffe. You've got Pete Hegseth has been over there recently, engaged. So he's delegating and giving them mission guidance, but he is trying to move the ball forward. And maybe you're not going to score a touchdown in the first week or 2 weeks, and these negotiations could go on for some time. But he's going to get some first downs, maybe 3 or 4 in a row. And that's what he's out to do, because he wants to change the dynamic so we have a different starting point, and the other leaders are looking at it differently than they have been for the last 3 years.
All right, let me ask you, because Mark Fogel, the hostage from Russia that was released, we still have other Americans in Russia, don't we? And what does the prospects look like of getting them back?
Well, I think, the president is determined to get Americans back, and he will, because I saw him in action getting people back in the first term, and we've already seen it here with this new administration just 3 weeks into it. So I think, there's going to be deals. There was a swap here for a criminal Russian that we're holding, who's a, fairly, important international criminal involved in financial networks and things like that. And we're going to get another American released, according to reports, in the next few days as part of this initial deal. But the main thing is the State Department under Rubio, Mr. Waltz at the NSC, they're all focused on moving the ball forward and getting Americans out as they get to the bigger deals.
Yeah. This, in my opinion, is all part of this America First agenda, that Americans have to be put first and they cannot be left behind no matter where they are around the globe, not just here in America, no matter where they are. Colonel, I'll give you the last word.
Well, he does care about America first, economically, about our people that are held, but he does want a deal in these places to end the suffering in Gaza, to bring peace to the region, something that will be fair and will provide the security and economic opportunity, whether it's in the Middle East or whether it's between Ukraine and Russia. But, you know, he's got a big view. He's looking long-term, not just short-term deals.
Yep, sure is. Colonel Derek Harvey, it's great having you on. As always, thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Absolutely, you too. All right, folks, there is no doubt our federal government is spending beyond their means, but what about when this happens in your personal life? I'll have more on that next. Welcome back, everyone. Did you know under the last administration, Americans paid upwards some $28,000 more a year just to get by? Okay? It's the American family. It was rough. Many people have gone into debt because of it. We saw interest rates go up. That doesn't help you if you got credit card debt with interest rates going through the roof. On with me now is a done with debt customer. She is, of course, media personality. My good friend Jillian Barbary is with us. Jillian, good to see you.
Always great to see you, Grant. Thank you again for having me. And I was thinking yesterday, you know, the emotional toll of debt. We know that debt is obviously financial, but the emotional side of it is something that people don't really talk about. And I talk about it because, to me, it was a massive part of my sort of mental capacity at that point in my life. And a lot of Americans are just doing it to get by. It's not like they're out there buying luxury goods. They're paying for their kids' college. They're trying to pay for rent and food. And what happens is, once you get into that, if you're not prepared, let's say for disease, like I was with the breast cancer, and then I was suddenly fired and I got divorced, life comes at you real fast. And so for many people, and even if you're on television, you have a great personality, you're gainfully employed, everyone thinks that life is great. It can happen to the best of us, and it did. It happened to me, and I happened to lose everything. The house that I had lived in for 23 years that I had built and loved. But here's the good thing. If I had known about Done With That sooner, I would have jumped on it, the chance to talk to them sooner. But I did eventually. That's the good news. The other news is, for those of you sitting out there watching this program this evening, and you are in that situation and you don't tell your family and you're dreading the phone calls and the mail that comes in, there is help. All you have to do is just trust that you can go to donewiththat.com. Your first call is a free consultation. They'll talk you through it. They put you on a plan. And the great thing, Grant, is that they know all of the institutions, from banking to all of the credit card companies, and they know what's available for the average consumer. They can sometimes, wipe away the debt. They'll tell the people, look, this person has nothing. And so you either pound sand or, what's the alternative here? Or they can put you on payment plans that, maybe it's $25 a month, but the bottom line is they can dig you out of the hole that you're in. And you start to see that the sun is out there, and you can get yourself back on that financial track. And some people walk away with money in their wallet, but if you don't do it, time is against you, and it's working for the penalties that add up. So Done With Debt will get you out of that horrible hole.
Donewiththat.com is the website, and you and I have talked about this. Many people are embarrassed, and you've been so cool to talk about your story and be open and honest. And I'm going to tell you, I interview a lot of people. I know, Jillian, you're sincere about what you're talking about. This isn't just a job for you. You're sincere about it. One of the things that struck me is that people are often embarrassed to call, or they're afraid to call, because now you're really admitting it, that you have a problem. But the relief that you got, you've talked to me about the relief that came with that far outweighed the embarrassment of the initial call, didn't it?
Grant, 1,000%. I had been carrying this heaviness around with me. I was providing for 2 kids. I was going to chemo. I was working on a radio show at the time, and they had let everybody go because they syndicated. So there were so many personalities, including myself and Dr. Drew, who I'm really good friends with. And, we're sitting there going, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And I remember going to chemo. I had a port in my arm, and I was driving home, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the sole breadwinner for these children. I'm a single mom. My whole world just closed in. Once I did talk to them, and unfortunately it didn't happen for a few years because I didn't even know they existed. The relief that came over me was it was like having a best friend saying, I got you. Yeah. It's going to be okay. You're not going to jail. You're going to be okay. And we're going to have a plan.
It all starts to happen very quickly, too, the road to repair.
Oh, that road. Oh my gosh. It was almost like that fork, and I took it, and it was just, it's like having your own little team, like a DOGE team. I always say, they're in there. And you have to be so honest with them and just tell them, they're the ones that you verbally, blah, 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 to. All the stuff you've been keeping inside and holding in because you've been freaking out, they're the ones that need to know all that, because, the more they know, the more they can do for you. So they were just almost like talking to a shrink, but who could put me on the financial plan. If you go to donewiththat.com, that's the first step.
I'm sure it's somewhat cathartic to go through that process in many respects. Let me tell people, Jillian, how to get to the folks that helped you out so much, and I appreciate you coming on, as always, and telling your story. The website, folks, is donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. You talk to an expert for free, and they will run through what they can do for you, and it is a lot, and it is relief in the end. If you're struggling with that, it can be brutal. Donewithdebt.com. All right, what is it with these people and singing about resistance and revolution? Newsflash, we are the revolution. You asked, and we heard you, America.
Real America's Voice is coming to iHeartMedia.
Yes, Real America's Voice is now breaking through the white noise of the mainstream media.
Just download the iHeart app, and you'll have all of us right at your fingertips.
Scan the QR code and start streaming RAV anywhere you want.
Real America's Voice, available whenever you need us.
It's never been easier to stay connected with the voices you trust.
RAV on iHeart means you can take us with you wherever you go.
This is huge. The truth on iHeart. Ready whenever you are. From Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec to Grant Stinchfield, you'll find all your favorite RAV hosts in one place.
You can listen on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, or Amazon. RAV is now available everywhere you get your podcasts. All you need to do is scan the QR code right now.
Download the iHeart app today and get ready for Real America's Voice.
Scan the QR code and join the RAV movement.
Folks, when you're losing, I guess you have to resort to singing.
Shine till revolution comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Shine till revolution comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Shine till revolution comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Now, that sounds like a dude. I don't know if that person was trans or not. But I don't think it was as good as this one. This one is my favorite.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against DOGE. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls.
Which side are you on? I mean, it's great. I'm on Trump's side. I'm on Elon's side. I'm not on their side. I'm just not. They are desperate. They are down and out. Busted. It's going to do it for us. Stinchfield's Army rolls. Thanks to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
From Studio 6B, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, Wednesday, February 12th. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Welcome on in, everybody. Glad you're in. Lots to do on a busy Wednesday. Slick Rick Amorati's going to have sports. Slickster, how are you?
I'm doing great, Big D. What's going on tonight?
Not much. Looking forward to a big night. How was your day today?
Very good. A busy night day, but good busy night, good busy day, the whole bit.
Wearing your purple paisley tonight. I like that.
Absolutely.
Paisley Park.
Paisley Park, that's right.
All right, very good. Rick Delgado's going to do some news. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good.
Lots of news.
Lots of news.
Lots of news.
Lots of donuts, lots of news.
Lots of clips, lots of donuts, lots of news. Exactly.
And I housed my donut.
Okay, very good.
Hopefully the news is more fresh than the donuts.
You know what?
Yeah, I hope the news is fresher than the donuts you
We're
brought.
never getting donuts again now.
I don't make the donuts.
Yeah,
I just buy them.
You only go to the on-sale rack.
Delgado brings donuts because he has to kiss up to the crew. Aaron and Friend deals with all of his just requests. He's like, oh God, it's just the request after request after request all day long.
You make it seem
high maintenance.
You make it seem like I am high maintenance. I am not high maintenance. It's just that you've anointed me with so much responsibilities in terms of news, Damon, that I feel I need to make sure I provide us with enough to pick from. So when you ask, hey, did you grab that clip? I can say, yes, I did. And you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
Are you saying you're delivering responsible news to this show?
I am saying I'm the most important person on the show.
Okay. Yes, you are.
The hardest.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Delgado?
Because
there is so much going on.
Very good reasoning. I like that.
That's
very
a lot
good.
of garbage.
Right, Aaron knows. Aaron from downtown.
Aaron, switch. Paul Nolan's here. He's going to do some news as well. Mr. Nolan, welcome back. How was your vacation?
It was a good time. A lot of fun. A lot of R&R. Got some golfing. That was the bad and the ugly.
You shoot your temperature?
Talk to me. Got golfing.
I got 3 rounds.
Oh,
3 rounds of what?
My back.
Bourbon?
Talk about a knife in the back again. I've been dealing with a knife in the back for 3 nights.
Oof.
And now another one. Wow. How'd you play?
The first day would have had no expectations. I was quite good.
That was definitely your best one, right? Of course.
And then the next day, I figured I could break my 90.
You went out there focused and ready to shoot.
And all I did was break my heart. And then okay on the last day.
Okay.
Yeah, what is okay? 88?
No, 94.
Oh, okay.
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 What do they say about only 8% of the people who play golf in the world can break 100 on a consistent basis, right? Maybe even lower than that.
Is that right?
So, yeah, there's a stat out there, something like that. It's like 8% or something like that.
And Big D, you're one of them, right?
I used to be. I don't know if I would be anymore, honestly. I don't know.
Scratch golfer.
I've seen
my back.
You scratch your back.
I have a problem with hitting the ball through the giraffe's legs at this point.
I know you swing. I've seen you swing.
I know you swing. I've seen you swing. All right, well, listen, we have to have a serious conversation here tonight. I got to get right into the clips.
What do you mean?
Because the resistance is strong, ladies and gentlemen. The resistance is strong. They are really getting together. They are coming up with very ingenious ways to show the resistance and how they're going to push back against this president. And I think, at some point, its playtime is over, and you have to start taking them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And today was that turning point for me. I said, okay. I think after seeing this, Elon and President Trump, I think, are probably rethinking a lot of what they're doing. Roll it in.
Like they need to concede some of these attacks because the people have unified and rose up.
They have they have decided that they've drawn their line of they're not going to let them go any further. And they've really decided how to get the message across that they mean business. Roll it, Aaron.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against DOGE. We'll fight Elon Musk. No,
This reminds me of the movie Glory.
within our walls, we'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, bring me power.
He wants us all to fall. He wants us to bow to him, but we want him in jail.
That didn't rhyme.
Which side are you on?
It doesn't have to rhyme.
I was so
Which
disappointed.
side are you on?
Dusk and Musk rhyme.
Which side are you on? Which side
What is the
are you
extended
on?
mix here?
They say in the
yes,
capital
there's-
city there are no neutrals found.
I'm just surprised they didn't come up with a dance number with it.
The Union or a scabby Musk bloodhound.
Oh, a Musk bloodhound.
Are you on?
Dang, she nailed that one.
Which side are you on?
Take it home now.
Which side are you on?
Break it down.
Which side are you on? Don't take
I'm on the side with the mute button.
Yeah, I'm on the side with the nuke button.
Trump's side.
Aaron, come on, blow this up.
Workers haven't got a chance.
She's the only one that knows the words, though.
Blow it up.
Oh,
One
which
more time.
side are you on?
Take it home now.
Which side are you on?
I can't believe how you let this roll, Big D. I mean, man.
Which side are you
I wish
Big finish.
I wish we had a telestrator like
That's crazy
on
down
the
the right.
football games. If you can highlight each individual person, there was mental illness on every one of their faces.
Here's what I want to tell you. I want you to listen now.
I'm listening.
Listen up, all of you.
Come on.
That is not the craziest clip tonight. I want to set the bar now. I want to set the bar now.
Wow.
That is not the craziest clip tonight, and that is not the craziest crazy town
You have
tonight.
a second crazy
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh.
Now, do you have the Bon Iver version of this song coming
No,
up? Is that
and
it?
I don't have one that Dr. Dre wrote a beat to it yet.
Damn.
But if he did, that would be a banger. But this lady does not have me fooled. See, I heard this, and I was able to keep my food down, get a good laugh out of it. But then I started to think, I have heard this woman sing before. I have heard this woman sing before, and I think I know exactly where it was. Aaron?
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Taste the biscuit, of course.
What the hell is
You remember this?
Taste the honey sauce.
I think it's the same
Taste
woman.
the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.
You have to have the honey sauce.
Don't get that honey sauce on me.
Hey,
No.
I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
No.
Okay. All right, Aaron, good. So how'd you like to walk into a store and see that duo, by the way?
That's like walking into Uncle Giuseppe's these
go.
days, isn't it?
Yeah. So that crazy
Studio 6C.
that crazy down the hall. That crazy town is not the craziest crazy town of the night, and that clip is not the craziest clip of the night. So that'll leave you into suspense of what possibly could be coming. Right, Slick?
Oh, yeah. Woo.
I mean, to be serious for a second now.
Why now?
Why? You haven't been for the last first 15 minutes.
We may never lose another election again.
Thank God. Thank God.
I mean,
This is what the resistance is going to be.
yeah, if you think about it.
A bunch of cat ladies out of tune?
Yeah, exactly.
Careful with those cat
couldn't-
ladies.
They couldn't carry a tune if it had a handle. It's glorious. Keep doing that. I'm waiting for the follow-up hit.
Did you see the background singers? They all looked like paid homeless dudes. Like, what was it? Was they had no idea what they were doing there, and the crowd was just as big as the people on the stage. Would they have like 45 people there?
Well, yeah, you know, they got the camera low to get that angle to make it look like there's a lot of people there.
Right.
But like, who comes up with? I know those of you who I've ruined your dinner. I'm sorry. Who comes up with that idea and says, "No, this is a good idea. This is how to show that we're in the game. We're standing up, man. This is how we do it." I don't know, but
it's formidable.
Man, that is formidable. Yeah,
It's great. I love it. I love it. You know what? Keep it coming.
Yeah.
I need more of that. Actually, I need more of it.
So besides that, what's the big headline? Tulsi Gabbard's in. Paul, I'll come to you first because I know this is your girl. You got to be happy to see this happen today, right?
You know, I've been saying for years when the people who are for the people, like the Ron Pauls, and we would say back in the day that the RNC, the DNC, two corrupt organizations, the only way to ever break that paradigm of BS is to have people like her cross the line, like a Dennis Kucinich back in the day. People like that who were not ideologically driven, and they were reasonable and honorable. And now we have RFK coming next, and then all we need is cash. And once that happens, man, if these first 3 weeks don't tell us that the game is over, wait till these people start making the moves in, because what Tulsi's her power over that position, especially what they do with USAID together, this is going to be a game changer. I'm excited to watch it. You know, this get the popcorn ready. That's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Here's cut number 10. Here is the aforementioned Pam Bondi, Attorney General. What do you call it? She is swearing in Tulsi Gabbard as the new Director of National Intelligence. This is cut 14. Tulsi getting sworn in. Check this out. Cut 14.
Constitution, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
That I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
There you have it. Two people that the left said you'd never see in a Trump administration. Strong, smart women.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Yeah, where's
Right
Mark
there.
Cuban?
Exactly.
Chuck Schumer today was on the floor before Tulsi got sworn in and confirmed. Here was Chuck's take on what was going on.
Objectively, I think most senators would agree there are better choices to lead national intelligence. You know what my guess is? If we had a secret ballot, Gabbard might get 10 votes and 40 against her from the other side. People know. That's why they raise so many questions. But Donald Trump and Elon Musk evidently threatened them, and they're changing their view.
Okay, Schmucky thinks that Republicans would actually, in a private vote, only 10 of them would vote for her.
Right.
This is his take.
And he seems to be of the mind that, oh my goodness, an elected official might threaten another elected official. If you don't vote for what I want, you're not going to get what you want.
That sounds like projecting.
Yes.
13 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, just getting started on a Wednesday night. We're back. Sports, news, all coming up right after this.
America has the greatest economy in the world, but I think most of us would agree we have a problem. The cost of almost everything is up. Home prices, rent, food, insurance. Every sector has taken a hit, including automotive. More Americans are keeping their cars for longer, including me. And one way that we can make life more affordable is CarShield, America's #1 auto protection company.
CarShield's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and named America's most trusted auto protection company.
With CarShield, drivers could save thousands on covered parts and systems like your engine, transmission, entertainment system, and more. It's the protection that I trust, just like these other happy customers.
With CarShield, saving the $2,700 has been a real blessing. I love CarShield. It is my lifeline.
Our life as nurses, we just step up and we help people, and it's really nice when somebody steps up and helped us. If our car breaks down, CarShield administrators have our back.
If your car's out of warranty, it's not a matter of if it'll break down, but when. Call CarShield before it's too late and protect yourself from expensive car repairs.
CarShield is ready to help year-round nationwide with thousands of vetted shops to choose from, or their concierge service to help you find a mechanic near you. Unlike other companies, they don't just send you to the cheapest place in town. I trust CarShield, and so should you.
I have filed a total of over 5 claims, and my price from when I signed up never went up. And with the age of my car, that is security.
CarShield is a U.S. company supporting hardworking Americans save over $1 billion in expensive auto repair costs. More of us are keeping our cars for longer, so give CarShield a call now before a breakdown happens. Call now.
Call CarShield now before a breakdown and see how they're saving drivers money on covered auto repairs. Call 800-635-5126. 800-635-5126.
Throughout its history, the mission of Hillsdale College has been to develop the minds and improve the hearts of its students. As a commitment to this mission, every student signs an honor code. A Hillsdale College student is honorable in conduct, honest in word and deed, dutiful in study and service, and respectful of the rights of others. Through education, the student rises to self-government.
Did you know you could remodel your kitchen faster and for a lot less than at the big box stores? At Cabinets to Go, customize your dream kitchen with custom quality cabinets, countertops, and more, and enjoy a high-quality, affordable kitchen makeover that is sure to wow. Visit one of our showrooms nationwide and get your dream kitchen today for as low as $149 a month at cabinetstogo.com.
17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. I don't know why people in the chat are telling me to stop singing.
No, you're a good singer.
Yeah, you got some good honey sauce coming out.
Singer.
Thank you. The Valiant Steve on YouTube says, keep singing, Big D. It's awesome. Thank you very much, Valiant Steve. I'm down with that.
Come on.
You didn't catch the irony of that, right? They're just telling you to keep doing it?
Shut up, Delgado. 17 past the hour.
They've been telling you that for 5 years, Delgado.
Delgado's going to do the news. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And like I said, one crazy town wasn't enough for tonight. The real crazy town is coming up. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and our friends over at MyPillow. Use our code LFS6B if you're going to shop at MyPillow. It'll give you a great savings. Use it at checkout. Right there where it says promo code, plug in LFS6B, hit apply, and watch the savings in your cart. That's what it does. Slick's got sports. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, let's go to the scoreboard as we always start off every sports segment on LFS6B. NCAA men's basketball Division I right now. Number 9, St. John's taking on Villanova. Big D, good game. 73-71, the Novas lead with 9
Rick
seconds
Pitino's doing a hell of a job over there, I'll tell you that.
Oh, my goodness.
But this is a tight game, Big D. Only 9 seconds to go in the second half.
9 seconds?
2-point game, so we'll see what happens there. That's a lifetime in basketball.
You like both of those teams, Slick?
I do.
Which side are you on?
I'm with the Redmen.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. It's the side I'm on, brother. Okay, we got Ole Miss, number 19, Ole Miss, taking on South Carolina, 44-33, 17 to go there in the second half. Also, second half, 15 to go. Louisville taking care of business against NC State, 50-32. Duke, number 3, Duke, hosting California. That's a 9 p.m. tip-off, as is Arizona State and Texas Tech, along with Oklahoma and Missouri, and then also LSU, Arkansas. NHL, Canada and Sweden getting ready to drop the puck in just a few minutes. We got the Big Four, right? Sweden, Finland, USA, and Canada all battling it out, all the big stars. So no NHL All-Star game, Paul. We talked about this. I know you're a massive hockey fan, even bigger than I am at this point. And I got to tell you, that's going to be a lot of fun to see who pulls it out for the NHL big championship there with all the Big Four teams, the international.
Yeah,
I love the format.
Me too. I like it too. It's just... I just think it should be a summertime thing. When we need a break in the summer, when NHL is gone, I would much rather see it in the summer, not break up the league, because then we could have like eight nations, do the World Cup again.
Be a lot of fun, but I still just the same. I like the fresh look because I'm tired of the whole, that format with the NHL playing each other 4-on-4. Hey, this is a good thing. So we'll keep track of that. NBA action, Big D. The Celtics at the TD Garden right now, 66-47, leading the Spurs at the half. Good one, Hornets and Magic. Hornets up 46-45, 12 to go there in the third. Also at the half, the Wizards 60-47 over the Pacers down in D.C. Sixers, what do you know? They're trailing the Nets now in Brooklyn. That'd be 40-34. My Sixers are totally toast. That's the second quarter right now, 7:44. The game's already over. Knicks looking good, 49-37 over the Hawks in the Garden. 8:56 to go there in the second. The Cavs over the Raptors, 53-25. 8:15 to go there in the second as well. Pistons and Bulls just underway. Bucks, Timberwolves as well. A couple other games going on. We'll get to that a little bit later. Let me get to a quick story, if I may, and that would be Maine's school sports officials reject Trump's orders will allow transgender athletes. What do you expect up north? They're liberal as could be. Warner Todd, Houston, and Brightboard. The governing body for school sports in the state of Maine officially rejected President Donald Trump's new Title IX rules and will continue to allow transgender athletes to play in girls and women's sports. Its director says. You believe this, Delgado? Yeah. Mike
Maybe they should have watched the press conference with the Attorney General today. What she thinks about people defying the president orders or federal law, but maybe they didn't have a chance to watch it.
Apparently not, but Mike Burnham, executive director of the Maine Principals Association, MPA, they got their own acronym, Big D, confirmed on Wednesday that it will not abide by Trump's executive order to keep men out of women's sports, Fox News reported. The executive order and our Maine State Human Rights Act are in conflict, and the Maine's Principals Association, MPA, will continue to follow state law regarding gender identity, Burnham insisted. Burnham added that he is instructing all schools in Maine to follow the Maine Human Rights Act and will not implement any policies to the contrary. Standing his ground, Big D. The staff at the MPA will closely monitor any updates from federal and state authorities regarding the potential impact of the president's executive order on high school sports participation and adjust his policies accordingly, Burnham said. They were adjusting a lot of things, right? The president signed an executive order banning transgender athletes from playing in women's sports and girls' sports on February 5th. Of course, we saw that. It was fantastic. Consequently, the federal state Title IX rules were altered to that effect, and schools that refuse to obey the order risk having their federal funding withdrawn. Put Maine on that list, Big D. Their funds need to be withdrawn because those federal funds, those are buku dollars that come in. So anyway, it goes on to detail the rest of the part of it. But not to ad nauseum keep going on about it, Big D. But yeah, so Maine is putting their foot in the ground, telling the President Trump that, we don't want to abide by Title IX. Well, we'll see how their federal funding goes. Yep, and that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
All right, Slickster, very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. There's a lot of strange things going on in the Northeast these days. Maine, Connecticut, Massachusetts. A lot of strange things going on. We'll get to a little bit of that later. Let's do some news, though, right now. There's a lot of news going on today. And here with the news is Rick Delgado. News brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition. Great supplements, vitamins for men and women. On the homepage, live from studio6b.com. Check them out. 15% off right now. Delgado, what's going on?
All right. Well, you talk about a lot going on, and Aaron, you are correct. There is a lot going on. Elon Musk's DOGE team, I should say, has successfully canceled, check this out, millions of dollars of government contracts that the administration said were a waste of taxpayer dollars. A senior administration official told Fox News Wednesday that DOGE has worked with various agencies to cancel several contracts in the Social Security Administration, the Department of Homeland Security and Labor, and several other areas. Taxpayer dollars will no longer be wasted on nonsense, told this official said. Canceling the spending includes a $36,000 contract for DEI-related workshops at Homeland Security. That sounds like fun. How about a $1 million contract that was canceled that supports the Gender X initiative, whatever that is, and involves public-facing Social Security applications that allow for a non-binary field when it comes to your Social Security. That's very important. At the Department of Agriculture, a $1 million contract for a diversity communications campaign so they could communicate diversely, I guess, for agricultural professionals has been canceled. Also, contracts being canceled at the Forest Service, a branch of the USDA, including one for $375,000, a good chunk of change to any regular American on DEI, and onboarding services for another $30,000 for, get this, Central America Assessment Consultant. So you can get some money if you're a Central American consultant for DEI stuff. The Department of Agriculture also canceled a $230,000 contract for Brazil Forest and Gender Consultant Services. So the forest, I guess, has a gender now, because according to this, they had a contract with Brazil for the Forest and Gender Consultant. You can't make it up. Department of Labor, according to the official, will cancel a $4 million contract with DEI Consultation Services for its Jobs Corps program, and the EPA is also canceling another $100,000 two-year subscription to Gardner HR leaders to obtain research and advisory services. Blah, blah, blah. You guessed it. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and now they've added another word, accessibility. DOGE has posted...
They didn't add stupidity?
Yeah, that's the only word missing out of there. From what I understand, too, there is now a website where people can go online and check out everything that DOGE is doing, so you can see, you can follow it for yourself. Many Democrats, of course, we know, are railing against DOGE. There was a subcommittee hearing today. There are a couple clips we've got from that. We'll play that a little bit later. But that's all the news for right now.
God, I thought there was transparency.
I know, it's crazy. You can see what they're doing.
It's so weird.
26 past the hour. More news with Paul Nolan as well. And Rick Delgado coming up. Back right after this.
Hello, Americans. Pat Boone here. You know, the markets are getting a little crazy, and now is the time to protect yourself from economic turmoil. Silver is in the headlines and creating a lot of excitement, as the price of silver is very attractive compared to that of gold, of course. Call Swiss America for the scoop on whether this silver opportunity is for real. See, today, silver faces a huge shortage due to rising demand by military, solar, and electric cars, which all depend on silver and can increase prices. So, to help you get started, Swiss America is offering beautiful United States walking Liberty half dollars, minted from 1916 to 1947, in 90% silver for a special introductory price. Limit of $250 per customer while supplies last, of course. So call or text the number on your screen to take advantage of this offer. Rediscover silver today.
When a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name, it's a race against time to stop the theft of your hard-earned equity.
Many people don't know this has happened until long after it's done.
You as the homeowner think you still own a house. 3 months later, you start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim at HometitleLock.com.
Who wants to drag out a bulky vacuum? Introducing Horsepower Duck, a super compact vac with ultra-powerful suction. Clean up that mess in the kitchen, the spill on the sofa, even sawdust in the workshop. Just duck it up. The compact design can reach the tightest places, so store it in any drawer where it's always at your fingertips. You can even store it in your glove box for the ultimate car vac. The HEPA filter helps remove dust and allergens. Plus, it dumps out with ease, so it's ready to clean again. Get the Horsepower Duck hand vac for just $39.99. Order right now and we'll upgrade you to the Duck Pro package, a $30 value, yours free. You get the bendable tube, the crevice nozzle, and the soft brush nozzle, but supplies are limited, so there's a strict limit of 3 ducks per order. This may be your last chance to get yours at this low price, so don't delay. Duck it up today.
Call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckvac.com.
So call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckback.com now.
Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces? Then it might be time to consider Nano hearing aids. Nanos are FDA-registered OTC hearing aids. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids could cost $3,000 or more. Nano hearing aids are now offering $100 off through this special TV offer. Call now and get 2 CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. And if you're not happy, return them for a full refund.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, February 12th. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's doing news. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Should we do the crazy town here?
Yeah, that's what we can do in the second half.
All right, so let's
save it.
Let's do our second crazy town of the night because, as I told you, which side are you on is not the craziest clip of the night.
It's
believe
not.
It or not. It actually looks like a very sane clip compared to real crazy town. This is Worcester, Mass. Had a city council meeting.
Oh boy,
Worcester,
and they were discussing making the city. Let me get the exact wording, so you get the idea here. This was a meeting on making Worcester, Massachusetts. They were voting on whether they wanted to become a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse people. That brings us to Crazy Town. Roll it, Aaron. I've already seen it.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
I can see
Yes, I can.
She's in disguise.
You say that you're afraid of Trump, and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space
I
for
want a
trans
Happy Meal
people.
right now.
You better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum.
You don't say.
And I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver.
Too bad it didn't kick in.
I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off.
I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
But be aware that you are a guest in my house when you come. And when you come, know that there are strong queer and trans people in my classroom who will collect you with the quickness.
My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always considered like all the time.
It does this when it's
People
told.
refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as man. I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets. I speak as someone who is a member of this community.
A real fat person.
And is a queer person.
You have to imagine being me and my wife, fearing that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's going to cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community? How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption?
I get that some of you care more about easy funding than trans lives and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason, but
Normally, I would say good evening, but through the chair, I will only impart my sour grapes.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B.
District 5?
Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Oh, another song.
Another song.
Oh, another chant.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
Right now, that cop is going to go home tonight and tell his wife that he quits.
He quits. Whoa. That was fire.
Well, you were right, D.
You were right.
It's a good time.
City council meeting in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Talk about people of color.
Who knew that Worcester was full of such massholes?
Yeah, Worcester. I can't believe
Worcester.
Is it time to start having some serious conversations about mental illness in this country?
Yes.
Well beyond that.
To me, I just want to, there should be a study on what their algorithm feeds them and why they're so pliable. This is just mental illness.
I mean,
it's crazy. All you can do is pray for them. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
exactly. Pray for them.
Yeah.
Good, well put.
Laughing at them helped.
Now you got to pray for them.
I had a conversation with somebody about this clip today. I showed it to them. I said, I'm gonna talk about this tonight. I'm gonna play this tonight. I said, I just can't even believe this clip is real. And they made that point, Paul, about mental illness. How it used to be like hush hush, and now it's become so
celebrated between
Obama and Biden and this lurch into this absolute craziness. It's like you don't even think about saying no. You all need psychologists and psychiatrists
and medication.
That's what you all need, because this is truly mental illness.
I think they're over medicated already. I think that's part of it. I will bet every one of them takes at least 7 pharmaceuticals every day.
You know what I think of it too? And I'm not sure which one of you mentioned it. Which one, when you said which ones are the most pliable? I think that was you, Paul, right?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of these people? They just want to be part of the group.
Without a doubt,
right? They want to feel like they belong to something. So they latch on to this group because, they'll accept me.
Exactly.
Right?
And
because
they double down on crazy.
Right.
And crazy is a celebration.
Right.
The crazier you are, the more celebrated, the more clout you get in your circle of crazy.
Right. But I don't believe they're crazy. I just think they just want to fit in somewhere.
I think it's a combination of both.
How you have those kids that are growing up, they don't fit into the jocks. They're not one of these. They're not one of those. They're not the cool. They're not the plastics. Whatever. They found a group that accepts them no matter what they look like or how they talk or what they do. And all they got to do is put on a wig and say I'm non-binary and I'm in.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think two things could be true at the same time, and I think mental illness and that exact thing are going on at the same time. Plus, quite a few other weird things, because that's just mental illness right before your eyes, and it's celebrated.
Yeah.
The celebrated part is the part that's made it to the point that we're at.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's been celebrated. That's exactly the point where it was never celebrated.
Yeah.
It was hush, hush, get the help you. Now it's celebrated.
Right.
And it continues to push it more mainstream to this point where you get a city council meeting. Could you ever imagine a city council meeting that this is the majority of what it looks like?
No.
When we were kids? Board of Ed meeting or city council meeting that looked like this?
No.
No
Definitely
way.
not.
No way.
If someone told you this was in a book, you wouldn't even say, I'm not reading that. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. What? You want to be a what city? And you're going to have who there to what? I mean, wild. Just wild. All right, 39 past the hour. Let's do some more news and hear what that is. Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
I don't even know how to follow
up that. Huh?
Yeah, that's a tough fact.
Do you have the story of Zelensky selling the weapons that we provided him on the black market to the cartels in Mexico?
Get him while it's hot. He's having a closeout sale, Paul. Only got a few more days to go. It's over.
No, not exactly. This has to do more with Tom Homan, who is the leader of ICE. He believes that he's running into a problem where they're showing up for bus and they're not finding who they think they're supposed to be finding there, and he believes the leaks are coming from the FBI, among other people. Here is Tom Homan talking about that. Cut number 4 on the leaking of the ICE raids and warning the worst of the worst to get out of there before ICE shows up. Cut 4.
Tom, where are these leaks coming from?
Well, look, we think it's coming from inside, and we know the first leak of Aurora is under current investigation. We think we identified that person under investigation right now. The California leak, Secretary Noem, she's correct. Some of the information we're receiving tends to lead toward the FBI. But I talked to the Deputy Attorney General all this weekend. They've opened up a criminal investigation, and they have promised that not only this person lose their job and lose their pension, they're going to go to jail. They're going to criminally prosecute. So we're all over it.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Good stuff.
And that's exactly how they should be approaching all this stuff. These people break the law.
You have to.
Not only lose your job, lose your pension, send them to jail. Let them go through the system.
And then
because that's what
that as a deterrent.
Right. That's what needs to be done. Like he said, he thinks it's coming from inside, and they think they know who that leaker is, at least for the Aurora raid that is currently under investigation. The leaked information allowed members of the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, to evade capture last week as federal agents were met with mostly empty apartments and buildings. In the end, about 30 people were taken into custody, but none of the members of the gang that they were looking for. He's been, of course, vocal about the dangers of these leaks and emphasizing both operational setbacks and risks to law enforcement because they're basically giving the bad guys a heads up, as he says, so they can escape apprehension. You're putting these officers' lives at risk. It's only a matter of time before we walk into a place where there's going to be a bad guy who doesn't care. He's going to be sitting there waiting to ambush an officer. This is not a game. Meanwhile, the LA Times reported another ICE memo detailing an upcoming raid in LA was leaked as well. The document outlined plans to target individuals without legal status and those with pending removal orders. So all that breaking from Tom Homan and, of course, ICE as they go looking for the worst of the worst to start off and get these people out of the country.
By the way, today confirmed Tulsi Gabbard. Obviously, we talked about DNI. Tomorrow, Robert Kennedy Jr. as HHS Secretary will be confirmed. And then tomorrow, also, they will advance Kash Patel out of the Senate Judiciary Committee on to the full vote somewhere, hopefully this week, but certainly out of committee tomorrow.
Friend of the show.
So... All right, 43 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some news with Paul Nolan. More sports with Slick coming up when we get back right after this.
imperfecta or brittle bone disease. I have broken my bones almost 200 times and I have had 11 surgeries. But I didn't let that stop me. I love lift the bike ride, climb, race, and I'm learning how to stand and walk. Well, I can only do all of this because of generous people like you and Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children has helped more than 1.3 million kids just like me, regardless of their family's ability to pay.
Shriners Hospitals for Children is only able to provide this world-class, life-changing medical care because of the generous gifts of people just like you.
Because of you, I can ride my bike. I can play basketball.
Because of people like you, I can run.
I can smile.
Will you send your love to the rescue today?
When you go to loveshriners.org right now and give just 63 cents a day, you're helping kids just like me.
Like me. Like me.
When you give today, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Your gift, no matter how small, can help a child today.
This is your moment to make a difference.
When you pick up your phone, I know you have it right there, and call to give. You're helping kids like me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Please call or go online now. If operators are busy, please call again or give right away at loveshriners.org.
Your gift makes a difference. Thank you for giving.
Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces? Then it might be time to consider Nano hearing aids. The days of expensive hearing aids are over. Nanos are FDA-registered OTC hearing aids. They are powerful, lightweight, and simple to use, and their tiny in-ear design makes them nearly invisible. Plus, they are rechargeable, saving you hundreds of dollars on batteries. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids could cost $3,000 or more. Nano hearing aids are only $397. But wait, we are so confident you are going to love your Nanos, we are offering $100 off through this special TV offer. Call now and get 2 CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. You get a free portable charging case, free 24/7 lifetime telephone support, free shipping, and a 45-day money-back guarantee.
Call 800-226-2107. That's 800-226-2107.
All right, 13th of the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Suffolk County, New York. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's been doing sports. He'll do some more here in a second. Rick Delgado's been doing the news. But right now, let's do some news with Mr. Paul Nolan. What's your socials, Paul? Where do people find you on socials?
Well, Twitter's all I'm using these days because, Musk is there. It's Paul_Eggs Nolan. Paul_Eggs Nolan. And I don't know how it happened, but I got canceled on my first one. And I think I accidentally made that when I was drinking bourbon.
Paul, do you charge extra for the eggs?
Oh, yeah.
$1 extra?
What are the price of your eggs? Yeah, exactly.
You kidding me?
$7?
I'm only eating the good stuff.
All right, what's going on in the news, Paul?
So President Donald Trump on Monday confirmed that he had a good conversation with Putin and Zelensky about ending the Ukraine war, and that negotiations would begin with a planned meeting in Munich with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. He said he had spoke with Zelensky of Ukraine. The conversation went very well, he said. President Putin wants to make peace as well. We discussed a variety of topics having to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up on Friday in Munich with Vice President J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. He will lead the delegation. So he continued to say, I'm hopeful that the results of the meeting will be positive. It's time to stop the ridiculous war where there have been massive and totally unnecessary death, destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine. And that call followed an earlier discussion with Putin about the prospect of peace. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth also said on Wednesday who was confirmed that the U.S. would not deploy troops to the Ukraine and indicated that the country would not join NATO and likely have to cede land for the peace agreement. if you have a clip of Trump, he says quite a bit here, but to me, this is a good first step, and I'm happy to see it.
Now, somebody asked President Trump today, do you think that Pete Hegseth did you a disservice today? Did he take away some of your negotiating power by saying whatever he said? And the president said he didn't think so, but I wasn't sure I believed him. Yeah. Did you see that clip?
I saw it, but I think it's something he said in the past anyway, that he didn't see it as something that Ukraine should ever be in NATO.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's just reiterating something that Trump has said in the past.
I do think, though, Trump would like less said. You know, if I'm negotiating in a deal, if I'm in a deal and I'm in partnerships, I say, guys, look, whoever's leading this meeting, he's the only person who speaks. The least you say, the better off you are. Yes. Really, whoever speaks the most loses in the negotiation.
100%.
So if I'm in a position of power, I have something they want, I'm going to give up as little as possible in terms of knowledge and intention. But Trump does so well, even when he was asked, do you think J.D. Vance would get your nomination for president in 4 years? He said no. Right? Did you see that interview?
Yes.
And I love the way
I think the question was, do you think he's your successor? And he said not necessarily,
He said no, and then not necessarily, which to me is the perfect way to answer that, right? Do you guys agree that make him earn it still?
Yes, earn it. No doubt.
He trusts.
Jury's still out.
The jury is still out. He's got 2 more years really before he's got to make that decision. Correct. So I do, when I heard Hegseth say that, I'm glad you brought that up. I thought it was a little bit out of school. Maybe he shouldn't
have turn.
I just would rather less said at that point, because Trump's greatest wild card is not just the saber rattling, it's he flings it all over the place, and his unpredictability gives him so much leverage. So I'd prefer less said.
When you make a matter-of-fact statement like NATO's not in their future, it's like you're taking it off the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, that was...
All right, what's the clip? Let's see the clip here.
Oh, yeah, it's cut number 13. Here is Trump talking about his conversation with Vladimir Putin and also the release of Mark Fogel.
Is that conversation with Putin to start these negotiations part of the deal to bring Fogel home?
No, but it was a nice thing that he allowed Mark Fogel to leave. In fact, Mark wasn't feeling well, but he was all of a sudden about 2 weeks ago, he started being treated very nicely. He said they took him out for haircuts. They took him out. They helped him out a little bit and made him feel better, made him look better. And they were nice to him. And he said, I saw something happening. And it coincided with when I came into office. So that was nice. And he's a fine person. He was so happy to be out. He was there for 3.5 years plus. And he shouldn't have been there at all. They should have had him out much faster than that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Trump was talking about the Biden administration. He said something like the guy was there for 3.5 years. We got him out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, again, we said this the other day. All these things you see, and this is not, again, I said it then, I'll say it again. It's not to take anything away from Trump, because we know he is uniquely qualified to do what he's doing. But the presidency of the United States comes with significant power. No matter who's in the office, you have the bully pulpit around the world. You can do things like this if you have the will and the strength and the backbone to go do it.
Or your hand is not in the Ukrainian cookie jar.
Exactly.
Because let's be honest, everybody in that Democratic Party has been getting rich off of this economic war they created for the resources of Ukraine. Well, they could sap it all up, use it, abuse it, and not care who lives or dies throughout it. So, to me, it's more about intention than anything else. Hey, everybody, this is a great time.
Where are you going? I was going to say, where are you going, Paul? Speaking of that, getting rich, by the way, did you see Lee Zeldin today? His announcement.
Oh, Lee.
Yeah.
He announces that $20 billion in taxpayer funds were just discovered, laundered into an external financial institutions managed by agents of the Biden administration to finance left-wing NGOs. $7 billion was sent to an entity called the Climate United Fund. Zeldin says he has now clawed back the money and referred the case to the Department of Justice.
That's awesome.
Boom.
And again, I don't know if you've seen this, Paul, but what do you call it? the guy's name escapes me. He's always busting these people with the honeypot stuff. James O'Keefe.
O'Keefe, yeah.
Where they got one guy who said they were just trying to get money out of their offices so quick to these NGOs before Trump came into office.
Just throwing it as fast as good, like
they
over
didn't
Titanic.
care who it went to. They just wanted to get it out and get it out of there. So they could say, well, it's gone now. Well, it's now great to see that Lee Zeldin's actually able to claw this money back and refer these people over for scrutiny and an investigation. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take as soon as they get the first big fish, get that person under indictment, get him in jail. I think you'll see a lot of the shenanigans start to be. Everybody's going to be like, "Whoa, hey, okay, now
everyone's going to start chirping for a deal."
Especially the lower ones, because they don't have the resources that their bosses have.
And don't forget that Epstein client list.
Right.
When that comes out in conjunction with this, all of the blackmail that was held over people will now be used as a hammer to get information out of people.
Yeah.
There is so much corruption, so to the core, and all the conspiracy theorists were right, and the people are still hanging on to their dimwit flags and planted them on TDS Mountain, cannot see it, will not see it, because their ego is so entrenched, and this became part of the fiber of who they are. Their worlds are caving in, and we're watching the mental illness when they sing on stage.
Because they're emotionally invested. And something that Damon reported on last week. Remember last week when they moved cash out of committee, but then all of a sudden there was this breaking news that, oh my goodness, now we have Kash Patel maybe lied to Senate and had this money and blah blah blah. It's amazing how that story did not gain traction.
Yeah.
They tried. It was the.
Well, they moved it into that he lied under oath, right? Now they're going with he lied under oath, and he said he had nothing to do with the purge at the FBI. And now they're saying that he's behind the purge at the FBI, even though he's not in yet.
Yeah,
they moved it to that.
Right.
Now.
But notice how those stories are just not gaining traction. The way they used to have the power, to all of a sudden now
when they controlled all social media, they controlled all the algorithms.
Exactly.
It really gets steam.
So. All right, quick hour one, hour two. Back right after this, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night.
Are you sitting right now? It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, boost circulation, and release endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
Sitting too long isn't just uncomfortable, it's unhealthy. With Ready Rocker, we make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
From soothing babies to helping with posture, back pain, and stress, we discovered that rocking can truly improve lives.
Sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It actually releases endorphins in the brain. It's a mood booster.
I used to be in pain all the time, but with Ready Rocker, I felt relief, and I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking.
My back stopped hurting, my arthritis felt better. It's just wonderful.
Now you can join the movement that's changing lives and helping thousands find relief. Call now or go online to get 35% off your purchase. We'll even ship it for free. Plus, you'll get this bonus seat cushion.
Ready Rocker is changing lives one rock at a time.
Now it's your turn to experience the relief for yourself.
Call 1-800-592-1572 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. That's 1-800-592-1572 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. Call now.
You asked, and we heard you, America.
Real America's Voice is coming to iHeartMedia.
Yes, Real America's Voice is now breaking through the white noise of the mainstream media.
Just download the iHeart app, and you'll have all of us right at your fingertips.
Scan the QR code and start streaming RAV anywhere you want.
Real America's Voice, available whenever you need us.
It's never been easier to stay connected with the voices you trust.
RAV on iHeart means you can take us with you wherever you go.
This is huge. The truth on iHeart. Ready whenever you are. From Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec to Grant Stinchfield, you'll find all your favorite RAV hosts in one place.
You can listen on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, or Amazon. RAV is now available everywhere you get your podcasts. All you need to do is scan the QR code right now.
Download the iHeart app today and get ready for Real America's Voice.
Scan the QR code and join the RAV movement.
Live from Studio 6B, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Welcome on in, everybody. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan's doing some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in. Lots to do in hour two. If you missed hour one, you missed two Crazy Towns, which I'd love to play again, but I will not because the audience might disown me, never watch again, or they're going to bring their dinner back up from where it is currently residing in their stomach. So
my ears, thank you.
Okay, there, that too. So we will not revisit Crazy Towns, and they really were great. They lived up to the name tonight, that's for sure. Especially what's going on in Worcester, Mass. At the city council meetings.
Worcester.
Man, oh
Worcester.
man.
It's pronounced Worcester.
Yeah, whatever.
Worcester.
So let's get to a couple things in the news before we do some more sports and news. I said this last night. This is going to be continued to be front page news every day. Judge temporarily blocks DOGE from accessing federal student aid data. A federal judge has temporarily barred Elon Musk's government efficiency from accessing federal student loan and financial aid information stored at the U.S. Department of Education. In an order issued Tuesday evening, Judge Randolph Moss of the U.S. District Court for, guess where? The District of Columbia
where else?
Barred any members or associates of Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, from seeing or using information from more than a dozen internal databases related to student finance until next Monday. Both sides of the lawsuit, a group of students at the University of California and the Education Department, have agreed to the halt as they prepare arguments. And again, the question is, how does a group of students at the University of California have standing to bring this case in D.C. to a district court judge for what Elon Musk and DOGE are doing in Washington, D.C.? A group from California. This is the question over and over and over again. These judges that put on these black robes, that think they're smarter than everybody else, that they're going to rule with an iron fist, one of 677 for 330 million people, and continue to grant standing in these cases to order these nationwide injunctions. UC students a week ago accused the Education Department of violating the Privacy Act of 1974, a federal law that restricts federal agencies from sharing personally identifiable information with third parties unless specific legal exceptions apply. For example, the Future Act of 2019 authorizes the Education Department to import tax return information from the IRS to streamline the financial aid application process. In their complaint filed at the D.C. federal court, the students allege that the Education Department has been providing DOGE with continuous and ongoing access to sensitive information for an unspecified period of time without clear oversight or legal authorization. Well, they work for the President of the United States. That's all the legal authorization they need. The lawsuit comes amid growing uncertainty over the future of the Education Department. I think Trump tonight, as in his remarks after swearing in Tulsi Gabbard, called for the end to the Department of Education again, did he not?
Yeah, he did. He wants Linda McMahon to put herself out of work.
The Department of Education operates on a multi-$100 billion budget and oversees $1.5 trillion in federal student loans owned by more than 42 million Americans. President Donald Trump has expressed strong interest in dismantling the department, a position long held by conservatives. So once again, here you go. Where do we go to get a judge who will put DOGE is going to go where next? Okay, let's go. All right, let's go find a judge. They're going to go where after that? All right, let's go find a judge. And magically, all of these people have standing. Just magically. Every single place they go, magically, the court says, oh, yeah, they have standing to bring this. Injunction. And then what happens? Let's flip it to the good side now. Headline in Politico tonight. Judge allows Trump to implement fork-in-the-road deadline for federal workers. A federal judge is allowing the Trump administration to move forward with its plan to downsize the federal workforce by offering employees the option to resign now but stay on the payroll through September. U.S. District Court George O'Toole, an appointee of Bill Clinton, did not address whether the deferred resignation program is legal. Instead, the judge ruled Wednesday that several unions that sued over the program lack legal standing to pursue the issue in court. Thank you. That's what should be happening in all of these cases. So you finally have found one judge, even though appointed by Bill Clinton, who said, you know what? I need to do the right thing here, because if I don't, I'm going to look like a fool on appeal, as all these other ones will when they get appealed to a higher court, you would think, or to eventually the Supreme Court.
Right.
But this is what should be happening in all of these. The judges should be ruling that all of these people who are bringing these don't have standing, because they don't. The program, termed the Fork in the Road and promoted by Trump advisor Elon Musk, originally had a deadline of February 6th for workers to accept the offer. Last week, O'Toole temporarily blocked the administration from enforcing that deadline while he considered the legal arguments in the case. Today, the Boston-based judge denied the union's request for a court order that would have required the government to continue to hold open the deadline while the courts weigh the program's legality. The ruling appears to allow the administration to close the window to opt into the offer, meaning the administration could begin processing the resignations of the workers who have accepted it. The White House said last week that 40,000 people had agreed, and goes on about the deal. But the point of this is the legal point. This is what should be happening all over. This magical standing that they're all getting granted is absurd. Absolutely absurd. So,
well, this
at least there's some good news tonight.
Right. This is their last nonviolent way of trying to stop Trump, because we know once they're going to lose in court, as they're starting to find out, they're going to lose in court. That'll leave for one thing and one thing only, and it's what they've been calling for, is they want violence. This is what the left is. They want violence. They want fights in the street. This is what they're asking for. This is what they're begging for. Unfortunately, at some point, they might get it.
Well, with their money dried up at USAID, there'll be less paid activists and agent provocateurs, so to speak.
And when you have the Hakeem Jeffries and the Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer's calling for, action, and we need to get out there and fight, you're not going to see a lot of people stand up with them, because they're not very inspiring, number one. And number two, the check isn't clearing anymore.
I saw a Baptist minister talking about there must be violence in the streets. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Amazing.
You call yourself a man of the cloth?
All right, let's do some sports. 8 minutes past the hour, and here with that is Slick Rick Rick Amorati. Slickster Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and My Pillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use. What's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, some sad news. College football offensive lineman Ben Chrisman, 21, found dead in his apartment, school says.
21?
Yep. Chrisman recently transferred to UNLV. Ryan Gatos of Fox News. Ben Chrisman, a college football offensive lineman who transferred to UNLV, was found dead in his off-campus apartment. The school said in a statement on Wednesday he was 21. Chrisman recently transferred to the university after previously playing for Kentucky and Ohio State. The school said it didn't have any more details on his death and that the Clark County Coroner's Office in Nevada was working to determine the cause. Our team's heart is broken to hear of Ben's passing, UNLV head coach Dan Mullen said in a statement. Since the day Ben set foot on our campus a month ago, he made the Rebels a better program. Ben was an easy choice for our leadership committee as he had earned the immediate respect, admiration, and friendship of all his teammates. Our prayers go out to his family and all who knew him. Ben made the world a better place, and he will be missed. School president Keith E. Whitfield said he was incredibly saddened to hear about Chrisman's death. There's a little that can be said to lessen the pain of suddenly losing a member of our university family at such a young age, and my heart breaks for all those who knew and loved him, he said. On behalf of UNLV, our sincere condolences are with Ben's family, friends, and loved ones and teammates during this very difficult time. Chrisman was at Ohio State for 2 seasons. Good team, right? Before he transferred to Kentucky, he set out the 2023 season with a knee injury and played special teams in 2024, according to CBS Sports. Chrisman was from Akron, Ohio, and played high school football at Revere High School. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. So very sad news to hear that there. And what are you going to do? It's very bad situation. And Washington man faces assault charges after allegedly attacking teen referees during son's hockey game. Well, that hockey's a wild sport, right? Police said video of the attack showed it was unprovoked. Paulina DOGE of Fox News. A man from Washington State is facing assault charges after he was accused of shoving 2 teenage referees during his son's hockey game, which is captured on video by security cameras.
I'll roll that.
Uriel Isaac Cortez Gonzalez, man, choose at least 2 names. 42 is facing 2 counts of misdemeanor assault after police say he attacked 2 referees, both under the age of 15, in an unprovoked incident during a youth hockey game Sunday. According to court records, officials with the Seattle Police Department received reports of an irate parent, well, that's a new thing, assaulting 2 teenage refs at the Kraken Community Ice Play. The Kraken, that must be named after the Seattle Kraken, right? Sunday, just before
every game I go to of my sons, this could happen at any one of the games.
I mean, it's
every
amazing.
Single game.
I had an idea. Can we bounce it over here? I had an idea at my son's hockey games growing up, or basketball games where parents lose their
You've been at a few of those.
Oh, forget about it.
Just a few.
Face cameras to the crowd, and the craziest people get shown in between the periods in the intermission area, and this is what you look like. Yep. This is the wacko that you are. Everyone would behave themselves way better because the people don't get it. And most of the craziest ones are the ones who never played a sport in their life.
Well, they live their life vicariously through their kids. And They just can't get over it. That's the problem.
When I was coaching, we would call them first jockers. First jock they ever bought was for their kid.
I like that one. The caller told the dispatcher that the man had left before the game ended, but he was later located by police at a traffic light near the complex. Gonzalez told police he witnessed his son being assaulted by another player from the opposing team during the game.
It's called checking.
Exactly. According to arrest records, he alleged his son was punched and kicked for about 30 seconds, and the referees, they did nothing to stop the assault.
That's called fighting.
Yeah. He claimed he walked to the ice to break the fight and that he shoved one referee to get to his son. He also claimed he was unaware the game officials were minors. Anyway, we know this kind of stuff goes on all the time.
Maybe take him off the hockey team and put him in the ballet or something.
Exactly.
Skating lessons.
Maybe badminton is more his thing, a little bit of a softer touch,
Checking and fighting and the refs staying out of it, that's hockey.
Hockey is, come on, that game is like on ice, intense, passion.
Right.
I mean, he shoved the ref.
Story, the father beat the daylights out of the kid for losing the fight.
Anyway, again, another slow sports night with these stories.
Crazy.
Good Lord.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More news. Lee Zeldin dropped another video tonight. We'll play that when we get back as well.
Another butt kicker.
It's time to get your dream kitchen at Cabinets to Go.
Right now, save on every single cabinet in your design. Up to $175 off per cabinet. Come in today and get your dream kitchen for just $148 per month.
Cabinets to Go. Wow for less.
It's an absolute problem. It happens all of the time. If you own property and have got equity, you can be a victim.
How can a scammer actually steal my home?
It's so easy for them to get the original document. They can download it and forge it. They begin to take out loans, and you're left holding the bag.
What can I do to protect my title?
Go to HomeTitleLock.com. We monitor your title and alert you if anything disturbs your title. Protect your home. You'll sleep better that night.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go online to loveshriners.org right now with your monthly gift.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me.
If you're happy and you know it, dance around. If you're happy and you know it, play a song.
If you're happy and you know it, and your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, take a shot.
And when you call or go online right now to donate $19 a month or more, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of all the smiles you're bringing to kids' faces every day.
Will today be the day you send your love to the rescue?
When you call the number on your screen right now and give as little as $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you'll be making a life-changing difference for a child, just like Sarah.
Your monthly gift today could change your life forever.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please call or go online right now to give. If operators are busy, please wait patiently or go to loveshriners.org right away.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-596-8062 for a free consultation.
All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Are you looking for a voice that truly represents your values? Well, it's time to hook up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. AMAC was created to champion the needs of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. Sounds like you. With over 2 million members, their mission is simple but powerful: to protect the interests of all freedom-loving Americans, safeguarding Social Security and Medicare, and advocating for common sense policies. Members gain access to incredible member benefits, including the award-winning AMAC magazine, from exclusive discounts on travel, insurance, and everyday services to a strong voice in Washington. AMAC is here to make a difference in your life and in the life of the nation. Joining AMAC isn't just about benefits. Regardless of your age, it's about belonging to a community that stands for timeless American values. In honor of President Trump's first 100 days in office, AMAC is offering an incredible, and I mean incredible, deal. Enroll right now in AMAC for a 5-year membership for 47% off. Normally $60. Join today for only $32. What? I said normally $60. Join today for only $32. 5 years. AMAC membership, $32. Go right now to amac.us/Studio6B. amac.us/Studio6B to take advantage of this special offer. That's amac.us/Studio6B. Join AMAC and become part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future. Well, have you seen the news from economists forecasting a depression? No, not a recession. I said a depression by the year 2030. We're in a perfect storm. Social Security, Medicare hit breaking points with the largest generation hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. Pair that with our growing national debt, rising cost of living, and you have a huge problem. So what are you going to do now to protect your family for the future? Well, gold is a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold, they can help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket to do it. Protect your future today. Text the word America to 989898. Get your free information kit on gold, and you can get a copy of The Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword written by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, only information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. You too can count on them. Text America to the number 989898. Do it today. Text the word America and send it to 989898. See if Birch Gold is right for you. You know, when I started telling you about Birch Gold, I think gold was at around 1,400. I think it just hit 3,000.
It's more than double that now, yeah.
And we said at the time that the chart, looking at inflation, what was going to come, this was probably, 2-3 years ago, that gold could be on a run. And boy, has it ever been.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it crossed over 2,900 yesterday.
It can't be denied. And there's so much manipulation in the pricing.
A lot of bullions.
Wait till they clean up the entire fake money system, and gold will explode.
How about your boy Ron Paul being floated out there for Treasury Federal Reserve Chairman Paul?
That would be unbelievable.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Another person like Kash Patel and Tulsi, the head of these intelligence positions, are basically saying, I want to vote me in so I can fire you all. He's going to do the same thing.
You're fired.
He's not going to put up the shenanigans over there at the Fed. It's a disaster there. Such a disaster.
Total.
You've been talking about this to me for a long, long time. Fix the money, fix the state. And the money wars. What would a Ron Paul at the Fed look like?
I think it would start with a basket of currency, a basket of commodities, Bitcoin, and I think the money would finally be backed by something. I think we wouldn't have fiat currency anymore. I think they would phase it out, and I think the Federal Reserve note would be gone, and I think a U.S. Treasury note would be in. And if a dollar could be printed on the good faith off the backs of Americans' ingenuity and strength and work ethic, and we don't need a Federal Reserve. We can simply do it by just directly bypassing the bond market and just issue the currency, as long as there are governing bodies overwatching the senators and the Congress people just printed on a rampage. We just have to have it backed by something. And when that happens, you won't get punished for saving. And that's what's killed this country. And that's why the endless printing. And that's why the shenanigans. Why are we paying income tax if they can print whatever they want, whenever they want? The whole thing is just a joke. And now watching all the corruption being blown away, it's just fantastic. It's fantastic.
And of course, by the way, we got CPI today. Whoops.
Yeah.
Back up to 3. And it's just amusing to me to see people from the left try to run to X and say, thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump. Maybe you guys are not aware, but there's this thing we call a lag in this data. This is absolutely thank you, Joe Biden. And by the way, the next one will be too. We won't even start. Trump's been in office for 3 weeks. We won't have Trump numbers for maybe 6 months.
Right. It's usually 6 months. And that's what happened when he left office first time, is Biden enjoyed some pretty good economic numbers for the first 6 months, until the wheels started to finally come off, when his policy started to take a bit of a hold. Matter of fact, here is cut number 3. Chuck Schumer, everybody's favorite schmuck, Chuck, is out there trying to blame Trump for Biden inflation. Cut number 3.
Americans want most. Meanwhile, Americans woke up this morning to bad news for their bank accounts. They woke up to a grim reality that Donald Trump is not going to keep his promise to lower costs. They woke up. Americans woke up to an era of Trumpflation. And unfortunately, this is only the beginning. On DOGE.
He's such an inspiring speaker, isn't he? What a leader.
What a Doge bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just so absolutely crazy. Crazy. By the way, the numbers being floated around for reconciliation, I'm not grabbing the pom-poms and jumping up and down, I have to tell you. I have the details somewhere. I could pull them up while we're doing something else and get back to them. But I mean, what they're talking about right now is the numbers to get these tax cuts done. When you look at what inflation is already costing the taxpayer, and the assumptions they make in the numbers, they assume basically no recessions. Well, we know that's ludicrous because it's absolutely a chance we could be in recession next year, if not late this year, depending on what happens with the economy with Biden left. Assumes no big expenditures on disasters, and they've already committed to obviously what's going on in North Carolina, what's going on in California. There's a whole lot of assumptions. They're assuming 2.83% GDP growth in these numbers that they're going to try to present for reconciliation. I mean, I haven't looked at it with a fine-tooth comb, but I can tell you the top-level numbers I saw being tossed around. If we're not going to bring spending back to pre-COVID levels, I don't even know how that's not at least the baseline starting point. We can't even talk about anything if that's not at least the baseline. And that's not even close to what they're talking about. I mean, they're still living in this pre-COVID spending like drunken Marxist world. If we're not even reducing spending to pre-COVID levels, well, I mean, what are we doing through reconciliation? This is our one chance to try to codify some of this stuff. And they're talking about these levels. They're talking about the cost of extending the Trump tax cuts are going to be less than what people are already spending because of inflation. How much more it's costing them to live. So if we're not making bigger changes than that, what are we doing? All right, we're back right after this.
Stay tuned to get a free automatic toilet bowl cleaner from Mermaid. Your sink stopper's broken, but fixing a drain is such a pain. Not anymore. Introducing Mermaid Drain Magic, the instant solution to most broken drains. Simply remove and replace. In just seconds, you can fill and drain with a simple press of a button. Drain Magic makes replacing your old, broken, rusty, even missing sink stoppers fast and easy.
Practically took me 5 seconds to replace. It absolutely made my sink look like brand new.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it. How could it work so well, look so good, and install so quickly?
And forget clogging, because Drain Magic's anti-clogging basket helps catch debris before it goes down the drain. When the basket's full, just discard. Helps prevent clogs in your sink by catching hair, food, even jewelry. Drain Magic uses a silicone gasket that creates a watertight seal without messy plumber's putty. Look, this sink was filled hours ago and the water still remains. Press the spring-loaded stopper and the water's gone. Made of brass and finished in high-quality chrome, Drain Magic is rust-resistant and built to last.
It's made out of metal, not plastic, and it actually has some weight to it. Yeah, this is the real deal.
Just looks like a new sink now.
Order your 2-in-1 drain solution, Mermaid Drain Magic, today for only $19.99. And with every order, you're going to get a Mermaid automatic toilet bowl cleaner absolutely free. Just drop it in the tank for up to 3 months of hands-free cleaning. Mermaid's ultra-concentrated formula cleans and deodorizes with every flush. But wait, due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get Mermaid Drain Magic at this incredibly low price with free Mermaid toilet bowl cleaner. There's a strict limit of 3. Call or click now to order.
Call 1-800-519-3206 or visit getdrainmagic.com.
So call 1-800-519-3206 or visit getdrainmagic.com. Order now.
Who wants to drag out a bulky vacuum? Introducing Horsepower Duck, a super compact vac with ultra-powerful suction. Clean up that mess in the kitchen, the spill on the sofa, even sawdust in the workshop. Just duck it up. The compact design can reach the tightest places, so store it in any drawer where it's always at your fingertips. You can even store it in your glove box for the ultimate car vac. The HEPA filter helps remove dust and allergens. Plus, it dumps out with ease, so it's ready to clean again. Get the Horsepower Duck handbag for just $39.99. Order right now and we'll upgrade you to the Duck Pro package, a $30 value, yours free. You get the bendable tube, the crevice nozzle, and the soft brush nozzle, but supplies are limited, so there's a strict limit of 3 ducks per order. This may be your last chance to get yours at this low price, so don't delay. Duck it up today.
Call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckback.com. So call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckback.com now.
30 minutes past the hour live. 30 minutes past the hour live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's doing some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. We were talking in the break about reconciliation, and what we're seeing right now early on from the Republicans is just, I don't know that it necessarily gets the job done. I don't even know if it's, I don't even think they're going to have the votes. I mean, I don't see how the Freedom Caucus guys think that those numbers make any sense in the world, in the post-COVID world we're living in right now. $4.5 trillion to extend the tax cuts, a $4 trillion raise of the debt ceiling, and then $1.5 trillion of spending cuts over 10 years. How is that not inflationary? I mean, what? I don't know. I don't know how that's your starting point. I don't know how your starting point is not at least pre-COVID spending levels, if you're actually serious about cutting. I have no idea. I'll get to some other comments on this in a second, but I was talking about Lee Zeldin dropped another video tonight about more money being found. This one's interesting. Here it is.
Hi, this is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse.
This is amazing.
An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight.
Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office and will work with the Justice Department as well. The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over. The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Lee Zeldin.
Huge news. And you know what? What are the chances they can actually go ahead and just outlaw these NGOs? Just cut them off at the knees.
Wow.
Just get rid of
my
them.
language. And
because it turns out that these are the mechanisms for the hijinks when it comes to our money, where they dole it out to a non-governmental agency that is probably all staffed with government people that they know or their family members, so they can get the money.
Yeah, right. And they're on the staff of 11 NGOs, and they got $1 million here, $300,000 there, $500,000 there. Or, I don't know if you guys saw the guy in I believe it was San Fran or LA, councilman went to Africa for 20 days, spent $26,000, and he said it was racism, and that's why that he wasn't allowed to spend the taxpayers' money on his vacation. And it's the black woman on the panel's like, she goes, she basically says, this is not racism. You're calling me a racist? Your black buck took $26,000 of our budget to go on vacation.
Yeah.
I wanted to send in that clip, and it's just common sense is just going to prevail. Once the veil is lifted, we'll be able to, we'll get back to a reasonable conversation. Like we said, crazy has been normalized.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
And corruption and stealing money, stealing taxpayer money and hiding it in NGOs and paying yourself and your friends and your family has been normalized.
Yeah.
A couple things on the spending things before we get to news. I saw the governor of Florida comment on this comment. Oilfield Rando, I don't know who that is, but on Twitter, in response to a tweet over at Red State, one of our favorite places to go look for news, they said, given the latest inflation news this morning and the fact that inflation was still humming summer of 2024, there really needs to be an investigation into why the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates just before the election, knowing that inflation was still running red hot, because it sure seems like they were trying to help the Democrats win. Bingo. And then this Oilfield Rando said a ton of the insane Biden administration funding was passed in a reconciliation bill, the preposterously named Inflation Reduction Act, for starters. There's no excuse for the GOP not using a reconciliation bill to cut all of it. Any Republican who isn't on board is wetting their beak in the spending. And the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, said anything Biden enacted via reconciliation, which only requires 50 votes in the Senate, can be repealed via reconciliation. Republicans have 53 senators. They can save trillions of dollars by repealing Biden's profligated spending. No excuses. And that's exactly right.
That Inflation Reduction Act was $1.7 trillion, if I remember correctly, right? It was $1.7 trillion. It just went nowhere. And it did nothing. It did nothing. All it did was devalue the dollar.
I mean, and it seems, and as he also said, returning to pre-COVID spending levels, exactly, while repealing all of Biden's spending would make a huge difference, even if it paired up with spending more on military and border. But there's no reason at all, at a minimum, not to return to pre-COVID spending levels. So, All right, let's do some more news. 38 past the hour, and here with the news is Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, first off, I've got to throw out a congratulations shout out to Miranda. She got straight A's, Damon, and she loves and watches the show with her dad, who lets her stay up late to watch. So,
wow, straight A's.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Straight A's.
Good job, girl.
Very good. You're a student just like Big D was.
Yeah.
Very good. Congratulations.
Sure. And that's why he got a big D on his report card every year.
Maybe not, but...
And also Ratchet sending us $5 in the Rumble chat. So a Rumble super chat.
It's like if you got a handwritten test back and the teacher gave you an F.
I tell him F you.
And wrote an F at the top, and you wanted to, let's say, I don't know, change that grade before it got home to your parents. What would you try to? What would you try to turn the F into if you want to look inconspicuous?
Real simple. I close it to a nice little B. I just put a little loop here.
That's exactly right.
And
Go
I got
right to a B, right?
F to B, baby.
Yeah,
well,
unfortunately, there's red and yellow marker all over.
No, I sync up the marking.
Yeah.
I'm not that crazy.
Big D went for the old A.
Yeah.
I was so stupid. I was trying to turn it into an E for excellent. That wasn't a grade.
And I've thought about this for about the last 40 years and thought...
40 years?
I don't know. Well, maybe it was less than... Well, how old was I? I don't know. High school, I guess. So maybe 35 years?
60.
And I thought, why didn't I just go for the B?
That would have been so
because
easy.
you start to feel pretty good about yourself.
Just close
I can do this.
Because I was always striving for the best. That's what it was.
Right, well, B stands for best.
As you can tell with this show.
Well, you're here,
you striving for Delgado.
Yes, I am.
That proves
Delgado.
proves that's already dead.
Couch.
You realize that you didn't have to actually bring it home. You can hide it under the stove. Just hide it.
Those are the days.
Boy. Well, those are the days.
That was short-lived.
Yeah.
Parent-teacher conference. You doomed.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do some of this news?
Yes, I do. But my kids can't get away with anything because now it's all electronic. Now it's like I can just
you're dead
forget
today.
it.
And you have access to the
my school with this, that, all these apps, so you can just see everything. You can see what the teacher
gave them that day.
That second did.
So you can see how they did on that
absolutely
pottery class.
Yeah, you see all of it. So
yep.
All right, let's do the news, Delgado.
All right, we're talking about corruption and waste. Well, of course, they had their first subcommittee hearing delivering on the government of efficiency and whatever it's called. DOGE was happening today. And, of course, Democrats were all in to target Elon Musk and try and make him the big bad wolf in the room that we should all be scared and afraid of because he's after all of our personal information and he wants our money and he wants to steal our Social Security card so he can go and, take out loans in our name. Who knows? But here is a little bit of Maxine. Mad Max, the gigantic-headed Democrat from California, cut number 6, where she accidentally admits why Democrats are so angry about Elon Musk and what DOGE is doing. Again, cut number 6. Listen carefully to Maxine.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know
what all they have on
us.
If that doesn't say everything about why they are so upset about what is happening, she just spilled the beans right there. Man. We don't know what they all have on us.
Flipped a wig.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, again, this subcommittee hearing happened today, led by Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've got some great clips here. We don't have enough time. I'll play them in the next segment. But turns out things got a little spicy there on the subcommittee hearing floor when talking about DOGE and specifically about Elon Musk. Not only there, but on MSNBC and then CNN afterwards as well. So we'll get to that right after this break.
Let's take that break, and then we'll be back. 17 till the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Israel needs you. We desperately need tens of thousands to respond.
A great storm from the north has come against Israel. You've got the scriptures calling each one of us not only to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, but it's incumbent upon each one of us to defend these precious people of God. This massive grocery store should be crowded. People are lacking food.
Exactly.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is preparing meals for precious elderly citizens who can't get out. It broke out her window that was shattered. Because of the war, much of her roof is gone. The ceiling is gone. She's frightened from Hezbollah.
Hezbollah.
Yeah. How does she get food? The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we come in. Thank you. You provide groceries, vegetables, hot meals. It's you.
Your emergency gift will help provide food to Clara and thousands like her trying to survive in the evacuated areas of Israel. Your urgently needed gift of $45 will help rush the delivery of an emergency food box and nutritious meals for a week.
It's you that gives her hope and lets her feel the presence of God.
It must be that God is here with me now. Thank you, and I'll say a special prayer of thanks to God.
When there's war and violence and brokenness, you and I, as Christians, are chosen to minister, to love. The wars come and the wars go, but something that never changes is hunger. And you help bring the peace when she can know, I have something to eat today.
It's time to get your dream kitchen at Cabinets to Go.
Right now, save on every single cabinet in your design. Up to $175 off per cabinet. Come in today and get your dream kitchen for just $148 per month.
Cabinets to Go. Wow for less.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. And if you call right now, as a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. Don't miss out on this opportunity because supplies are limited. Both books are yours free, just for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-899-6246.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now.
Call 800-714-8615.
Last segment.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Last segment of the show. Man, it went so fast. Real America's Voice, 103.9 LI News Radio. Welcome on in, everybody. Paul Nolan's been doing some news. I'll try to get to everybody here as we wrap up the show. I'll start with sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Man, it gives you a great savings on all the great stuff. If you're doing Valentine's, well, you're probably a little late to get it for Valentine's Day now, but whatever you got coming up, birthdays or Easter or whatever you're shopping for, Lindell's got great stuff, and our promo code LFS6B gives you a great savings. Use it when you're there. Slick, what's going on?
All right, Big D, NCAA men's basketball. One more sweep of the scoreboard. Here we go. Division I. All these games are late first half. Arizona State 39-37 over Texas Tech. Duke smoking 32-19 over California. They've got tied LSU and Arkansas 28 each. Oklahoma right now trails Missouri 26-18. And a little bit of an upset tonight. Villanova driving a stolen Nova. Upsets number 9 St. John's 73-71. Redmond go down. Big loss there. South Carolina lost to Ole Miss 72-68. And Louisville actually annihilates NC State 91-66. NHL right now, Paul. We got the Four Nations face-off round robin. 7 to go in the second. Oh, Canada 2-1 over Sweden right now. I want to check that out. Yep. And the Nets up by 10 over the Sixers with a minute to go in the fourth. Oh, nice. The Sixers are going to really drop 14 below 500. Hawks right now trail the Knicks 121-116. 6 to go there in the fourth.
Do you have any sport team that you root for that doesn't play like a high school team?
That would be no. That would be a firm no.
Just want to check.
I can't wait for baseball season so the Reds could be in last place by April. Here we go, Big D. We got the Cavs. Cavs 131-108 over the Raptors. End of the fourth. Oh, my God. Let's get out of these scores. I'm getting depressed right now. One more Super Bowl story, Big D. Taylor Swift fans call ICE
That's me.
on mother of Eagles star after Travis Kelce's Super Bowl loss. This is Warner Todd Houston and Breitbart. Yeah, Taylor Swift fans revealed their vicious side once again. Boy, they're tough, those Swifties. Watch out for them. They're coming for me, I heard. With one of the pop star's followers going so far as to call Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, on a restaurant owner over an Eagles player trolling of Swift's relationship with Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce. According to reports, a Swiftie called ICE to get the agency to raid a restaurant owned by Eagles tight end C.J. Gardner-Johnson's parents, Brian and Delatron, after the player trolled Swift in a social media post. That's heavy stuff, guys, here. The Johnson's restaurant also suffered an avalanche of negative reviews after their son's comments about Swift's romance with Kelce's angered Swifties. The attack on his mom and dad came after Gardner-Johnson jumped to his Instagram stories to joke that Kelce should have stayed with that thick bleep. It's an apparent comment on Kelce's previous relationship with journalist Kayla Nicole, who we talked about last night. He should have stayed with that thick shake there, whom he dated for 4 years before taking up with the pop singer. All right, Big D, put your hat on there. But after posting the image to Instagram, at least one Swiftie called ICE and admitted, I made an ICE report on his mom's business and don't regret it. You love this? This is unbelievable.
Some thick ice.
Gosh.
Yeah.
There's so much stupid to go around in that story.
Hey, TMZ's on it, though. You know, that's got a lot of validity. According to TMZ, the tsunami of bad reviews on the... Boy, they don't try the mozzarella sticks there. Triggered Yelp's usual activity alert. Temporarily disabled comments section. Google simply deleted all the recent review activity. This just got out of hand. Boy, you don't mess with those Swifties. Hey, dude, I'm telling you the story. I'm reading it as it is. This is Breitbart Sports.
I'm with you. What are you looking at me for?
What was wrong with
wow.
you?
What do you mean what's wrong with me?
This is big news here. This is
I know it's big news.
Kelsey's the homies there smoking this guy Johnson, man.
This is big news.
He's
smoking a Johnson. You're
man, you get away with more stuff.
I don't know how that story devolved into smoking a Johnson, but okay.
All right, Slick, anything else in sports?
That'd be a negative. I'll throw it over to Delgado.
That's what I've heard.
More, groundbreaking news over here.
All right, sports is brought to you by
That's
Mike.
a wrap.
Zeb Fair on Facebook says, must be slow in sports today.
Don't try to raps there either at that restaurant. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man. All right, Delgado. Paul, let me come back to you before Delgado will wrap us up here. Anything else in the news that's caught your attention?
No, just John Solomon has a couple cool things. I'll give you the headlines real quick. Michael Madigan, a long-serving Illinois House Speaker, was kind of buddy-buddy with Barack Obama, just got nailed on 10 federal charges of all kinds of corruption and influence plays. So it's nice to see more of these...
Well, the Maxine clip kind of, I said this last night on the show, Paul, you weren't here. When Trump and Elon's yesterday in the Oval Office says, we just find it interesting that there's a lot of these people who work in government that make $150,000, $170,000 a year and have net worths of, $50 million. And we'd like to know, well, how do you do that? If you're that good a trader, we'd like to take your trading advice. And if you're not that good of a trader, how do you accumulate $25, $50 million working for the public on $150,000, $170,000 salary a year?
Yeah, that's why they're all running like rats off a ship. Mm-hmm. And that's what my other quick story was. At least 70,000 federal workers have opted into Trump's buyout offer as of February 11th. 70,000 federal workers opted for a buyout. All right, good riddance. See you later.
I think there's a lot of people who may not be sleeping as well as they have been at night with Trump making comments like that. Like today, he did it again, I think today. He said there's got to be kickbacks.
Yeah.
You're going to find there. Do you have that clip? From the press conference?
I don't. It could be, I think it could be here. Cut number 11. It could be this cut where he says they found fraud.
All right, try that one.
What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally.
He's great.
And there's no chance. I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form.
Bingo!
And that's only one form of corruption.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, that's going to be appointment television.
Yeah,
whatever time that is.
He announced that he's going to do that tomorrow. He's going to read that list.
You're going to go live tomorrow.
I'm definitely going live if I can with that. Whatever that is.
This is way better than anybody could have dreamed it would be. This has been like just an endless victory march.
Thank God.
Much fun.
After 4 years of complete misery.
It's only week 3. It's only week 3.
But again, not to pour cold water on this, Congress has got to get it together because good
luck.
The spotlight turns from Trump, who keeps hitting us with victory after victory because he can through his executive power. Congress has got to get some stuff done.
Oh, I thought there's going to be a dance routine with the singing numbers.
No.
That's where we're going to be in trouble.
All right, I want to leave you guys with this. One of the scenes from the DOGE Subcommittee hearing on the Hill today. Here is Haywood Talcove. He's a CEO of a company called LexisNexis Special Services, and he tells Congressman Tim Burchett about how much government could save. Again, this is cut number 7. Check this out.
How much money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs each year?
Yeah, my number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those 3 things.
Yeah. Simple as that.
It's a lot of money, $1 trillion.
Simple accounting practices.
1/36 of our debt.
Yeah.
Trillion.
All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, all our emergency personnel, all our truckers, all our farmers, everybody that keeps the country moving and safe. Thanks, guys, on the show. Thanks, Paulie. Aaron and Frank, great job as always. Most of all, thank you to live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Hopefully, I'll see you during the day tomorrow, but we'll be here 8 p.m. live from Studio 6B.
Hello, this is Mike Huckabee. President Trump said he wants to take back the White House and teach our kids to love our country. That's why my team created the Kids Guide to President Trump. It'll teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his vision for America. And right now, I want to give it to you for free as part of this free gift bundle.
Order your free Kids Guide to President Trump, get a free bonus guide, and a free membership to AMAC featuring dozens of money-saving benefits at kidsneedtrump.com. That's kidsneedtrump.com.
What if you could tackle your dog's itching, soft stools, and low energy? Millions of pet parents are raving about Dr. Marty Nature's Blend.
Such a huge difference in her health. More energy, more playful, no more pooping issues.
I'm Dr. Marty. I've been a veterinarian for more than 50 years. The dangerous ingredients added to many pet foods could be impacting your dog's lifespan. That's why I formulated Nature's Blend.
Now you can feed your dog wholesome cuts of real meat, vegetables, and fruit with no artificial preservatives or fillers. Try Dr. Marty risk-free. Go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Anybody who owns property should worry about home title theft. There's no other crime that is so easy, so quick, and so lucrative.
Your home, your equity, and your peace of mind can all be stolen in one fell swoop by home title thieves like Matthew Cox.
Nobody thinks that I can take their house. Nobody thinks that.
Believe it or not, a single-page document is all it takes to transfer proof of ownership out of your name.
People think there's a whole huge process, but the truth is, it's a one-page document.
But it still must get through one final barrier, the county clerk.
When someone comes in with a fraudulent deed, if it's notarized and all the spaces are filled in, we by statute have to accept it. We cannot give it back to them and say, we know this is fraudulent, we're not going to file it. That's against the law.
It's public records. It's a recording system. They don't make a phone call, they record it, that's all they do.
Bottom line is, yes, it happens, and we can't stop it from happening, and it only takes once for it to sting you, and it's a very sad thing to watch.
You've put your love into the house, and all of a sudden, it might not be yours. It's a devastating crime.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock will monitor your title nonstop, alerting you to suspicious activity.
If you can get a warning notice that this first step has happened, you can stop the rest.
This person from somewhere in New York stole our property. So I was surprised. I talked to my father about it. He advised me that he had taken out Home Title Lock about 8 months earlier. We logged into Home Title Lock. He had 5 alerts. Immediately we contacted them, and within about 2 weeks, the deed was put back in my parents' name.
If you give us a call right now and mention promotional code LOCKIT, we'll give you your first 30 days of protection absolutely free.
Home Title Lock lived up to every promise they made.
Go online or call now, 1-800-493-1175.